as I am to speaking on Mondays, this is going to be quite weird. Normally I don't speak until the weekend. Save up all of my speaking until Saturday. And then I do a lot of it over at the other place.
Rock and roll!
And then here. So it's breaking new territory. Almost. Hello, boy and girl.
Hello, boy.
Hello.
That sounds a lot more offensive when you said it, Alex. I mean, when I was saying it with love and warmth and affection, and you suddenly I feel like I'm being abused. Help! I'm being abused.
Your human rights are being abused.
Yes, exactly.
I knew you'd start with the insult straight away.
Well, I haven't finished yet. There seems to be like on the verge of a howl around, and I'm talking with my head in a bucket. But you knew that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all over it.
Like a rash.
You're rubbish at this. Have I mentioned that?
I have done it for ages. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, well, just press on and pretend that nothing's happening.
It's these studios that are made of Lego.
Yeah, bound to be someone else's fault. I heard that there was a dog sound effects in the in that nice news program that we had just before the bulletin on the hour. Sound effects. This is what a dog sounds like. Because that's what they were talking about. You've got to keep your pet indoors because it's the 5th of... what was the old thing? Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah.
And you have to keep your pets indoors and I'm quoting, keep them distracted. How do you keep an animal that has the brain of a pea distracted enough that it would not hear explosions going on outside? Because there's a dog lives just beneath me, and the slightest noise, in fact, when it sees its own feet, it starts barking. It is that stupid.
Is that the one that wakes you up in the morning?
No, that's a completely different one. That's somebody drags around a furry alarm clock while it's still dark every morning. I know exactly what time it is without opening my eyes, because I can hear it fading in. Some dog that doesn't stop barking. There must be something mentally wrong with it.
Can't you get a doggy Asbo or something?
I have thought about getting out of bed and having a word with them. But then I would have to be actually out of bed at 6:30 in the morning and shouting at people, and I just don't think my heart could take it.
What do you do? Just put your pillow over your head?
Yeah, well, I've started to put wax earplugs in my ears, and now I'm thinking that every time you put a wax... Have you ever used a wax earplug?
Mm-hmm.
Every time you put one in, it leaves a waxy residue behind. And so if you use it every day, eventually you're going to have a ball of wax the size of a tennis ball just inside your ear.
And then you won't need earplugs at all.
Well, that's a good point.
You can build your own earplugs slowly.
So I'm thinking either I get a decent sleep or I'm going to have some sort of wax-induced tumour. That's the only options that I have. Here is South Croydon. Hello, Connor.
Hello, Nick. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good. It's been a while.
Been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely, 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 lonely time.
I just wanted to let you know that when dogs bark a lot, what I do with my dog is I spray them with water.
Spray it with water?
Yeah, you spray them with just a little short spray of water, and it really does stop them, because my dog hates it now. And what it means to distract a dog is you have loads of noise in the house, like you leave your radio on. It doesn't mean, like, play with it. It means you leave your radio on really loud.
Right.
So my dog's going to have to be putting up with you all evening, then.
Okay. I think that maybe Radio 3 would be better for a dog, rather than just mumbling in the background.
What's Radio 3?
That's an excellent question, Connor. We'll come to that later on, all right?
Okay, thank you.
Cheers, mate. Ta-da. Spraying a dog with water. I mean, not even the RSPCA would raise a finger of complaint about that, right? I mean, not from a high-pressure hose, but just a little squirt every now and again. Who doesn't want, who can actually put their hand in the air and honestly say they don't like a little squirt every now and again? Here is, a mobile. Hello?
Hi, Nick.
It's Louise.
Yeah.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Nick. Oh, well...
Louise, honestly, do you call every single show? Yes.
Mainly you and Clive.
You're lying about that, aren't you?
I won't say every single show.
You do. You call every single show. Usually first as well. Bless you.
I live LBC, and I've been feeling really unwell all day, so I've had you on in the background.
Echinacea doesn't work. I tried it. I had a cold for about 4 weeks, and I think I've segged from one that lasted a month into another that seems to be even more violent. And I was taking echinacea on a daily basis, and there's much like vitamin pills, they don't work either.
I know, it's rubbish because it's bonfire night as well, and all the fireworks are going off, and I want to see them, but I can't.
Yeah. Oh well.
Stop whining.
And what I was going to say to you is, have you tried to contact the council about the noise that the dog's making, if you don't want to confront them?
Well, what the council going to do? They're going to hang out in the dark, waiting for someone with a yappy dog to walk by. But they did spring into action when I moaned about a children's whirly gig, what do you call them? Like a roundabout thing. You know those little roundabouts that they have for kids? Well, it squeaks. And every time kids go on it, there's this, it's like this, it's almost like someone was killing mice.
Oh dear.
And so I called the council up, expecting nothing to happen at all. Because, if when you're outside enjoying a cocktail on your balcony of a summer, and you've just got this low, it's the same sort of irritation as a dentist's drill, that kind of all day long.
Yeah.
And I called them up and I said this to them. They said, oh, well, we'll see what we can do. And much to my amazement, they fixed it. They actually had a man out with, I don't know how they would go about such a thing, with grease. And they actually fixed it. And I wouldn't have expected them to do anything, just to have a modicum of politeness on the phone. Yeah. And then just ignore them. Just ignore me. Oh, some nutter talking about some kid's squeaking, roundabout. But they actually fixed it. So it's worth complaining. It's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. Literally, in this case.
Yeah, definitely. So you should try that. And fireworks, they should be made illegal for people to buy. They should just be stuck to displays. Or made illegal to be let off before bonfire night or
Maybe it's just around my way, but this year I've hardly heard any at all. I mean, the previous year they were 2 weeks beforehand and several weeks afterwards, because we haven't got afterwards yet. But up to this point, hardly any. Well, they've made it recently more difficult to buy, haven't they?
Yeah, we've been the other way around. Last year we hardly had any. This year we've had loads.
Right.
And it's not good for my dog.
I suppose it's much like crime in general. It's not that if a lot of people are going out and buying it, or a lot of people are going out and committing crimes. It's just usually one person is their own mini crime or firework wave. And so if you just get lucky, like I have this year, then...
It made me last before Halloween. They didn't sell eggs and flowers to under 21s, under 18 in the shop, just in case it eggs people's houses.
Right.
Which I thought...
That's one of the benefits of living in a block of flats. Because they can press all of the buttons that they like, but if they egg the outside of the building, it's not necessarily where you live.
No one can reach you, can they?
No.
So you can just sit on your balcony and scream abuse at them.
So how's the, you did a media studies course.
Yeah.
Right, against my advice.
Sorry.
There's going to be a lot more of that, by the way, because the government is now insisting that people will have to stay in educational training up to the age of 18, despite the fact that almost none of them will want to really do that unless they're academically gifted, unless they actually are, unless they would have done it anyway. All the people that are going to be forced to stay in there, they're just...
It's got to be something you want to do, because if you've got no interest in it, for one thing, you'll not turn up. And it'll be like, well, what are you going to do?
And if you do turn up, then you're just going to disrupt everybody else's learning. They really don't think anything through, do they?
I've been at school.
They should check with me. Before you do anything else, Gordon, check with me, all right? Anyway, Louise, we've got to go. Here comes the travel, all right?
All right.
Cheers, my dear. Ta-da. This is LBC. Here is Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, we're still looking at big problems to the east of town this evening. Choates Road in Dagenham.
Going extremely well.
Langley. Hello, Dion.
Hello, Nick.
Dion.
Yeah, it's like Middle East here at the moment.
In what sense? Oh, explosions everywhere.
Yeah, 'cause we got Bhangra, Eid, and Bonfire Night. All in one.
All right.
And it's, I don't know if they're integrating or not, but...
So, being like Paul McCartney and Michael Jackson in perfect harmony.
Yeah, with one glove.
Hey, that's another thing that we don't like Paul McCartney for. Let's start making a list. There's the Box of Frogs song, the Mull of Kintyre, which was at #1 for about 56 years, and if I ever hear again, I'm going to pull every single hair out of every single follicle.
I say that was Christmas, wasn't it?
And the Perfect Harmony song, Ebony and Ivory. Good grief.
Well, Wings died when I left school in the mid-70s.
And Heather is the one that we hate.
Yeah, I don't know much about her. I know she had a motorcycle accident, and... Was she a page 3 model?
I've no idea. Every woman that's in the media these days has to take on the mien of a page 3 model, no matter what they do, with the possible exception of those in government. They all disport themselves like they're gagging for it. I mean, pick up any newspaper. I'll double dare you. Bring me any newspaper today with a red top on it, and any woman that's in there will be on all fours with her mouth slightly open, regardless of who she is. And her male equivalent will be will be buttoned up in a suit. But women and I was mentioning this on Saturday night, and I got absolutely no. Well, I got no feedback from it. I thought, and the woman that I was...
You make my weekend.
The woman that I was working with took me to task about this. She thought, I don't know why she would argue with me about that particular point. I was sticking up for womankind, that the tabloids do seem to be stuck in the 1970s, that every single woman that's, I mean, and we're not talking about girls either. I mean, Kylie Minogue, how old's Kylie Minogue? She must be pushing 50. Is that...
Well, I'm 48.
Right.
And I remember in Neighbours with Jason Donovan.
Right, okay, so she's at least 40. I mean, and how does she dress? Like a Brazilian prostitute?
Yeah, she wore that dress on stage where her boob was nearly popping out.
I mean, she's like Cher. A 2-inch piece of tinfoil is a dress. Yeah. But no man would dress like that. I mean, the equivalent of Kylie Minogue, I suppose, as I was saying on Saturday, is Robbie Williams. And the equivalent dress would be hot pants and a tank top. When have you ever seen Robbie Williams in hot pants and a tank top?
I think Robbie Williams would probably wear a very expensive suit.
Yes, yeah, and so it just seems like we're way overdue for women to be taken seriously by the press, but they're still. They still all have to look like hookers. I just don't understand that.
God knows what Spice Girls are going to look like.
Right. Expensive hookers.
Yeah, they're going to have some expensive clothes on.
Yeah.
You know,
but Posh Spice, but Posh herself, she looks like an expensive hooker every time she goes out the house. I mean, she's not... You wouldn't want your mother to dress like that, would you? She always looks like she's
not at all.
She would be the woman knocking on the suite at the Dorchester. Other hotels are available.
Yes, of course they are. There's plenty in London and the Balkans.
Anyway, Dion, what was it that you called about?
I had a full medical Saturday afternoon privately.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I had to have a swab in my third eye.
Is this something we actually want to know? Have you gone through and checked this call, Helen? With a microscope?
No, it doesn't matter. No, but I had a full medical anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm due to go away.
And how did you do?
Fine.
You passed?
For my age, pretty good.
Right.
You'll
make it through the weekend.
Or
at least till the end of this call. Well, everyone's thrilled. You keep on doing what you do, Dion, and stay off the bacon, all right?
Yeah, I will do.
Okay, cheers, mate. Here is Atlanta, Georgia.
Hello, Nick.
Hello, Steve.
Hi. Wow, Dion's pulled some tall stories before, but I can't imagine him having 3 eyes.
Let's just move.
Okay.
Move on,
I wanted to
shall we?
actually talk about Louise and her media studies program.
Yeah.
But first, can I briefly say that there is a tall, skinny hole in the hearts of many of us LBC listeners. So, back to Louise.
Yeah.
I think media studies is the perfect subject for her. considering how much she calls the radio, what would you expect her to study? Nuclear physics?
Well, if I were her, I'd put the calls on her CV that she takes. She's been, a major part of.
Make an air check tape?
The entire output of LBC. She could practically say that she works here.
Well, definitely. And with a little media studies degree, she can, hand in that tape and her little CV, and she'll get a job at any crap radio station in the country.
Let's make a list of the most crap radio stations, shall we? Come on, Helen, let's start a list right now.
Well, I can definitely be
No.
in America.
Well, do they study media in America?
Well, I mean, you see, the thing is, I went to school 20 years ago. I'm 38. And I studied English. But
yeah, we used to study subjects that you could
do nothing with.
Well, no.
I became a writer for TV.
that could qualify as general knowledge, or that people wouldn't guffaw about when you told them what you do.
Well, that's true, but like my cousin, she just got a master's in modern history from Cambridge. But, who talks about the French Revolution? No one. Who talks about the media? Everyone.
Well, I suppose you've got a good point there, yeah.
The media is what, it's the most significant thing in our culture right now. Why shouldn't people be studying it?
Yes.
It feels weird that a radio presenter is, agreeing with me.
But my knowledge of media studies is it's just watching Coronation Street and theorizing on what it's like social psychology, but one removed.
Well, yeah, but English is just reading Tess the D'Urbervilles and doing the same thing.
Well, I suppose so. In the absence of any further knowledge, I'll have to agree with you.
Okay, Nick.
It goes against the grain, but I'll do it anyway.
Okay, bye-bye.
Cheers, Steve. Here is one in Soho. I was in Soho today. It was very, very quiet. Too quiet. Douglas.
Oh, Soho? No, it's Paul in Woodford. How you doing, Nick? All right?
It's Paul in Woodford.
Yeah, at the moment.
I've got Douglas in Soho.
Yes, that's probably, yes. Not Douglas Cameron, was it? No, it's...
Close, but no cigar.
Close. How you doing? All right?
All right.
Fireworks. I'm in Tesco's at the moment, but fireworks, the reason why we've got fireworks at the moment is because there was Eid, wasn't there, on the 12th of October, huge fireworks, and that's when the fireworks generally started going in the shops, and then we've got bonfire tonight, and a couple of callers ago said Bhangra. Bhangra's not the festival, is it? It's Diwali, which is the Hindu Sikh festival of lights, which is why there's a huge sustained period of fireworks. Bhangra's a type of music, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. And so, look, something's going off in the background there. So that's why we've got all of these fireworks going on at the moment. There's Eid, and then it goes on Bonfire Night, and then it goes into Diwali.
I don't do religion. What's Eid?
Eid is, and I don't really do religion as well, but Eid is, Eid commemorates the end of Ramadan. If you're Muslim, you fast twice a year, and Ramadan is a period of fasting for about 30 days, and where you get up and you don't eat during the day, and you eat during night time sort of thing, and that's if you're Muslim, you celebrate that, and so Eid is kind of the New Year and end of Ramadan, so the end of fasting, huge if you're Muslim, big thing.
And then they do fireworks.
And they do fireworks, yeah, and there's usually fireworks as a result of that. And then we've got our bonfire night, and now Diwali is if you're Hindu and Sikh. Diwali is when Rama and Sita. Oh God, I'm going to make a fool of myself now. But something like
I don't think there's any time for that, Douglas. But listen, thanks a lot. I've got to go for the news. All right.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Cheers. Ta-da. Yes. So I hope that's clear and that we've cleared that all up now.
This is Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
I take these calls with trepidation because it's about religion again. And I really don't do religion, and which is a perfectly reasonable position to hold. And it's as valid as anybody else's opinion on the subject, isn't it? That I'm not interested is a valid opinion about religion as much as I'm not going to take blood and so I'll die on childbirth. If that's valid, then so is my position that I don't do religion. I'm not interested in religion at all. So these two calls are about religion. What are you doing? Trying to kill me?
No.
First in Ilford, Zahid.
Hi there, Nick. I don't do religion any more than any man or woman really concerned with just leading a normal life without having too many influences that are spurious to existence. But just wanted to set the record straight about what the earlier caller was saying about Ramadan and New Year and fireworks and all of that. Just to set the record straight, the month of Ramadan is when the Quran was revealed to the Holy Prophet. And so its significance to the Muslims is that they fast during this month, and the month of fasting entails sort of a detox, which is very comprehensive, very wholesome. It's a detox in spirit, in soul, and in body. And that's what you're doing by fasting, praying 5 times a day, going by the book, so to speak, where you make an extra conscious effort of being honest, truthful, true to yourself and those around you.
And do you actually feel, have you done this?
I have, yes,
Right.
yes.
And how do you feel at the end of it?
You feel very good about it. You feel good about yourself. It's about really getting back to basics, you know. I mean,
but when you say detox, people, ordinarily you read magazines and people go on about detox all the time, and some people say, yes, this is what you should do, and then all medical opinion lines up to say, no, don't even think about doing it. But at the end, presumably, you've rid yourself of all the chemicals that we ordinarily enjoy every day, and you've got a lot lighter, right?
Yes, I mean, what's happening over here is not just a detox of the kind where you're getting rid of the body of toxins. You're actually getting rid of, toxins of the kind that you would avoid in a manner where you're living life by the book. So if you're not supposed to be telling lies, yes, you make an extra conscious effort, and you know then that you've got to make this effort of absolutely not lying or cheating anybody.
I'll try that.
It's detoxing yourself in that manner as well. It's making an extra conscious effort, and it brings it to you. The very fact that you're denying yourself food and water brings to mind people who go without, or have to go without, or must go without food and water. And so you spare a thought for them. And you make a conscious effort of being charitable. So all of these things put together it's what embodies the spirit of Islam.
And then do you have fireworks?
What you're trying to, sorry?
And then do you have fireworks?
No, there are no fireworks.
Right, okay.
There are no fireworks.
So he got it completely wrong. Apart from everything that he got wrong, he was totally right. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have a feast. At the end of it is a great family and friends feast where you all get together, you congratulate yourself for, touching base, had a reality check. It's a very personal thing. It's nothing to do with anybody else.
But not being a religious person, I'll just skip straight to the feast.
Yeah, let's skip straight to the feast. Yeah, that's the best part of it. It's celebration all around, and no fireworks have neither traditionally been nor are practiced at this minute.
Okay.
To mark Eid. Yes, I mean it's a sign of celebration, and if so anybody wants to do it, well, why not? If that's their way of celebration.
All right. Thanks a lot, Zahid.
All right, then.
Cheers,
you're
mate.
welcome.
Ta-ta. Now it's clear. Now, is this other guy going to tell me exactly the same thing? Bermondsey, Alex.
Hello, mate.
You can just say ditto, if you like.
Who?
Never mind.
Oh, God. Hey, listen, yeah? I've got some Muslim friends, and it's got nothing to do with Eid fireworks.
You've got some what?
I've got some Muslim friends, yeah?
Right.
And it's got nothing to do with Eid, these fireworks, because Eid was about 4 weeks ago.
Right, there's bonfire night.
Well, right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Why was that guy going on to a long one, like?
It was, you couldn't really put a cigarette paper in between his words, but, he was very good at what,
He clearly said from the start he doesn't do religion.
Yeah.
But he just told
Just very knowledgeable about it, yeah.
Right.
Okay, thanks, Alex. Helen, that call that's about Islam, to say thanks very much, but no. All right. I'm not taking any more calls about religion, by which I mean any, at all, ever. Who is the most stylish woman in the world? Now, if you hadn't read this today, this news will come as something of a shock. And I have my theory about why they've come up with this person, because it's Vogue, right, the style Bible. They've just compiled a list of the 50 most glamorous women in the world. Number 1, the Queen. With her uniform of suit, handbag and sensible shoes, the Queen has for decades ignored the vagaries of fashion. But now this enduring style has seen her named alongside a host of models as one of the most glamorous women in the world. The fashion Bible Vogue includes the 81-year-old monarch, along with Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell. Blah, blah, blah. Same old, same old. Well, they're models. They're paid to be glamorous. They do glamorous for a living. And whenever they're photographed, they're making their living. That's the part that I don't understand. Of course they're going to look glamorous because, I mean, hell, I'd look glamorous if I had a makeup assistant and someone to do my hair and dress me and...
Hello?
Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Isn't she groomed, though? Isn't it more...
The Queen?
Yeah, she's more groomed than glamorous.
Well, yeah, she's not glamorous. Frumpy, yes. Glamorous, no. Because glamour is something that, I don't know, svelte, good-looking...
Charlotte Rampling.
Younger women have. Or women who have sort of maintained their looks into their 50s, I suppose. Beyond 50... I don't think you can be glamorous, can you?
I think you can be a glamorous older woman, for sure.
But the Queen isn't glamorous. She's, like...
groomed.
Hausfrau-ish.
Yeah.
The magazine praises the Queen for being as glamorous in her brogues and headscarf in Balmoral as she is wearing the crown jewels. She's regarded as a trendsetter. No, she isn't. The Queen, a trendsetter? What trend has the Queen started? I mean, there was a run on Barber jackets, but that wasn't the Queen. That was Helen Mirren playing the Queen.
Mm.
And it's being shown in America, and they all rushed out and bought these green, waxy jackets. The Queen hasn't started any trends. She's the antithesis of trends.
There is nobody listening to the show who bases their wardrobe on hair wardrobe.
On the Queen, no.
Yeah.
I doubt there's a person alive. She's regarded as a trendsetter with as much influence in the world of fashion as Kate Moss. Oh, come off it. And when I'm reading this, I thought, well, why are they saying this? Because it's obviously untrue. And then I thought, you know, the BBC have decided to show the documentary that they were making when the Queen famously stormed out when she didn't storm out, she was storming in.
Yeah.
And people got fired over that. How ridiculous is that? And then television has been eating itself out from the inside ever since about, you know, banging on about we must be truthful all the time. Well, if television was truthful all the time, if that was the gate over which they had to leap before they... Blimey, you making enough noise there, mate? What have you got? What is that, dinner?
Hello. Yeah.
That must honk in there. It's a relatively small room that the both of you have to share, and he's just come in with microwaved food, which always smells like
pongs a bit.
Dog product to me. What have you got?
It's not far off. Some chicken thing with veggie.
What have you got, Helen?
I've had mine. Mine was a spaghetti bolognese that I made from home.
Ah, see? Good for you. Make it from scratch. Yeah. You, Alex. I don't know.
Lazy.
That stuff that you wave is not good for you.
The wave?
Yeah, you microwave. Yeah.
No, I know it's not.
Nuked food.
I'm lazy.
Is going to kill you. Slowly. But enjoy.
Well, it's quite yummy.
British Vogue has compiled this list for its December issue, saying that glamour is about how you wear something, not what you wear. You can't buy glamour, it says. Well, that's interesting, because all of the people in their list are rich.
Which is proving that you can.
You can buy it. In fact, it's the only way you can be glamorous is to buy it. I mean, do I look glamorous? No. You, Helen?
You had your haircut?
Yeah.
You've got a shirt on, haven't you, under that jumper?
Yeah, well, I've been out.
Glam. For you?
For me, yes. But not for, you know, not in general. You can't buy glamour, you can't fake it. But unlike beauty, it's not something you're born with, although it comes more naturally to some than others. This is what Vogue is saying. And my suspicion is that they're sucking up to the royal family, specifically the Queen, because it was their photographer, Annie Leibovitz, who was doing a shot of the Queen for Vogue. when she was famously shown storming into a room, and then implied that she was storming out in a huff.
Yeah.
She was storming in a huff, moaning about, oh, I've got to wear this and that, and, you know, complaining and whining. And so, the reason that they put her, I mean, she sticks out like a sore thumb. Here's Claudia Schiffer, and there's Naomi Campbell, and Kate Moss, and Sophie Dahl, whoever that is. And they all look fantastic, and then here's the Queen, who looks like their mum.
And what does she look like on that picture?
Well, she's got a headscarf on, and a green coat that's so large it could be a tent. She's got bright red stockings, like surgical stockings, in red.
Really?
She looks like an elf.
And, flat shoes. Just terrible.
I noticed they dress the Queen up in really bright colours now. Like neon green, almost.
Take your eye off the wrinkles.
Yeah. She's like a beacon.
I haven't bought a stamp in a good long while. Is she still, like, 18 on our stamps?
Yeah.
I haven't really noticed.
Because she had her,
hang on,
profile shot
I've got
done
a stamp, hang on.
in the late 1890s, and they just sort of forgot to update it.
What do you
by
think?
accident, on purpose.
Yeah, she looks young.
No, she's still young on the stamps.
Well, in profile, you look fantastic, Your Majesty.
She definitely hasn't got those big glasses on.
She looks glamorous on the stamps, but in real life, not so much. Here is the A3. Stuart.
Yeah, hello there. Listen, I've just driven through North Cheam, and the whole area is dark. All the power is totally off for about a mile and a half.
Huh.
Your newsroom might want to know that. I didn't know what to call.
All right, I'll pass it on. Thanks a lot, Stuart.
There's absolutely, and tell the traffic department, all the traffic lights are out for about a mile and a half.
Cheam.
No lighting, nothing.
And what road is this?
This is the A24 through North Cheam.
All right, well, this will be a test, because we've got the travel coming up right now. Thanks a lot, Stuart.
Yeah, okay, cheers.
Cheers, mate. This is LBC. It's 7:46. Here's travel now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. I can tell you that in North Cheam on the
Abbot.
Well, let's get back to it.
The Standard today was screaming on their front page about people who have licensed their own cars as cabs in order to avoid the congestion charge. Now, you know you got a slow news day if that's on the front page, and that was pretty much the only thing that was on the front page. And I thought, wow, what a fantastic what a disgraceful fraud. A fraud in which drivers registered their car as a minicab to beat the congestion charges being investigated by transport bosses. Imagine this. So, I was going around the Shepherd's Bush roundabout because they've, thankfully now it's at 6:30 they've stopped the congestion charge. No, it used to be 6:30, now it's at 6. You can come in at 6. And so I was going around Shepherd's Bush roundabout for about 10 minutes. So, by the way, was everybody else. As soon as I heard the news as soon as I heard Paul Ross say goodbye, and then the news came on, all of the people that I was following around the roundabout suddenly took a left turn up Holland Park Road. A fraud in which drivers registered their cars as minicab to beat the congestion charges being investigated by transport bosses. Motorists are believed to be exploiting a loophole that lets them declare their car as a cab, exempting them from the £8 a day toll. Drivers of prestige cars such as Bentleys and Aston Martins, as well as builders' vehicles and pickup trucks, are all registered as cabs. Aston Martins. You can't get in the back of an Aston Martin. It's got a shelf. The move costs £82 in advance, followed by £27 a year licence fee, creating a potential saving of £1,591 a year over the cost of an annual pass. Huh. Minicab drivers are supposed to pay the charge if they're not carrying fares. I didn't know that. It's almost impossible for the Transport of London to check this, however. TfL's investigation was prompted by a string of expensive vehicles being registered as cabs, including sports cars such as Mercedes SLs, Porsches, and Aston Martin DB7. A Porsche as a cab. Also put down for the scheme were a £77,000 Maserati and a Bentley Continental and 3 Maybachs, which cost £300,000 each. Seriously, if you're going to buy a car that's £250,000, would you really want to risk breaking the law just to save £1,591?
Well, that's how rich people stay rich, isn't it? By just being very, very tight and Canny.
Rich people are tight. Yeah, I'll agree with you there. But that's how they got their money in the first place. They don't. You don't stay rich by throwing it away. That's right. But you'd have to weigh up the possibility of getting caught against the amount that you could save. And surely £1,500. I mean, that's the sort of money that they drop on lunch. I mean, if you arrived at a restaurant in a car that costs as much as a house, then you're not going to go with the house wine, are you? I'm sure you could spend that on a glass of brandy in some places. That seems insane. 1,000. I mean, what sort of extra could you get on a Maybach that would be as cheap as £1,600? Like a cup holder? I can't think of anything else. Something small and plasticky. Maybe a replacement for your cigar lighter.
Windscreen wiper?
Yeah, maybe a new rubber for your windscreen wiper. Yeah, now that they're going to impose a £25 a day congestion charge on gas guzzlers from February, they're expecting that to just go through the roof. But that's genius, really. To register your own car as a cab, so you don't have to pay the. But now they've put a whole new series of cameras pointing at roads, which look very sinister. They're smaller and darker, and there's not just the one anymore, like in a speeding, like speeding camera. You see what I mean when I said I'm not used to speaking on Mondays? I do feel as though I left my brain at home. But there's,
What do you mean they're more sinister?
Well, they're kind of smaller, and there's more of them, and it looks as though they're pointing at each.
Because I saw a camera yesterday, and I thought it was pointing at a house.
Oh yeah.
But it was a lamppost.
Right.
And that to me looks it crossed my mind that camera looks sinister.
Yeah. The new ones that are going up, they do look like, you know, the speed cameras are bright yellow and
big and
quite
bulky and
jaunty.
Yeah.
As like large yellow things are. But then the ones for the TfL, the congestion charge thing, they came along and they looked a little more unpleasant. But these new ones that they got coming in, they're like small tubes, like fatter tubes of Smarties.
They're kind of more, kind of squashed down more and more. It's almost like it's not a gun, but it's got the feel of something focused in very close.
And they look. It looks like something from the defence industry would come up with.
Yeah.
What are they?
It's got that colour to it, hasn't it? It's got kind of MOD colour to it, kind of very dark grey.
Very suspicious.
There's a row of them, isn't there? There's about 5 or 6 or something in the
That's
row.
right. So what's that for? That'll be something that they've thought of, but they haven't told us yet. They'll put the infrastructure in, and then they'll tell us what it's going to be.
Why is the one by me pointed at a house? Or the side of a house?
I don't know. Do they close their curtains? Maybe there's some, real hot babes of either sex living there. Because if you are, can you imagine how boring it is to sit in front of a bank of screens as a security guard, and the temptation to swivel one of those cameras that's on top of lampposts, and there's a lot of those now. They've been putting them up all over everywhere. Some of them you can't actually tell it's a camera because they've got a little sort of dark globe on the top.
Oh.
Yeah, much like in casinos. It looks like there's it looks like a lighting fixture, but it's actually a camera.
I've not seen those ones, or have I?
Very well, yes, that's right. When you look now, you'll see them everywhere. But if you're, just looking at the screens in the control centre, and I assume that there is such a thing, otherwise, what's the point? I mean, if nobody's actually monitoring them, what's the point?
There were speaking ones, weren't there?
Yes.
Where they could...
I read about that.
Yeah,
I'm
in the
not sure
control room.
Do they actually go through with that?
I don't know. They could say, stop it, or...
Yeah.
Get off that.
And hooligans would comply immediately.
Oh, I would, but...
Would you?
If a voice from nowhere was shouting at me, get off that wall...
Right.
Then I would get off the wall, yeah.
I don't know if you can talk back there. If you can have a conversation.
You could use sign language, the international language of finger. But no, these new cameras, they're obviously not for speeding. Well, unless they've got some sort of super new method of catching us out. And these cameras point at you rather than as you're going away. And they're obviously not for congestion charge because they've got those already. This is a completely new set of cameras on top of the ones that they've already got. What are they for? And they're not the road traffic information ones, because we know what they look like. They look kind of sinister as well, those blue ones on high posts. But there's a new one. They look like fat Smarty tubes. And there's there'll be an array of them on each post. Very suspicious. And nobody's mentioned this. Like, they've just put them up without telling us what they're for. Don't you find that a bit disconcerting?
Yeah, I do.
Or have we really...
used to it,
yeah, we've just given up, really, haven't we? We've all a sense of personal freedom that we used to hold so dear. We've just got, oh, well. Because that's what we're like as a country, really. We'll accept anything without complaint. We'll grumble while saying, oh, mustn't grumble, but then you go on and grumble anyway. But grumbling is not complaining. Grumbling is just sort of making a noise to yourself.
But we do like a good moan, don't we?
Well, yeah, that's, grumbling and moaning are more or less the same thing.
We love it.
Yeah.
We don't like action.
But, yes, we'll moan about our lot under our breath, but we won't actually stand up for ourselves. I think we like to wallow in misery in this country. Perfectly reflecting our skyscapes from now until July. It's all downhill from now, boys and girls. Not that I want to depress you or anything, but I'm actually looking forward to Christmas this year. Bit of brightness at the end of the slate grey rainbow.
Nick Abbott.
Here we go.
Hey, you know, the Sopranos are starting from the very beginning. It's a very good place to start. Tonight, at midnight, they're going to play every episode on a daily basis. Isn't that fantastic?
It's good for me, because I've never seen it.
In fact, it's I think a lot of people will be in your boat.
Right.
Did you watch the very, very last one?
I've never seen any episode.
Oh, my God. Well, you must set your Sky Plus machine. Other personal video recorders are available.
I need to install Sky, though.
What?
When does this start?
Midnight.
It's going to be close, isn't it?
Close?
To get it installed.
Installed?
In a few hours.
Oh, you mean you haven't got it at all?
I haven't got it.
Oh, right. Well, I'd get on the phone straight away. It's on More 4. You must have a,
No.
Huh? You haven't you're not digitaled up at all?
No, not at all.
Blimey, do catch up.
You don't do television?
No.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're one of these freaks who doesn't watch television.
So are you, aren't you?
I've started to again.
Oh, thank God for that.
I tried watching The Sopranos the other day, but I came in halfway through an episode and somebody was being shot on their stairs, and I thought, oh, blimey, that's not very nice.
Yeah, don't spoil it for us.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, well, there'll be a lot of that. I can't wait. I'm going to watch every single one of them from the very beginning. Tonight, midnight, they start...
What ones you've seen already?
Yeah, well, I've seen them all already.
Okay.
But it's the best thing that's ever been on television. And I'm thrilled, I'm quite thrilled, actually, that they're going to be showing them all. And that you don't have to wait a week. It's every day. And they just showed the very last one ever. And if you haven't seen it, don't worry, I'm not going to tell you what happens in the end. But I was amazed that Channel 4 were... And it's probably the first time that they've ever been respectful of a programme that they've shown since after all the TV channels decided that they must now shout at us at the very end of any programme. In fact, it's got worse now. They don't wait till the music comes up on a film or programme that they watch before they start shouting at us about what, hey, coming up on the silver, you know, like that, like some sort of a hyperactive market stall trader. Now they put flashes up on the picture of a programme before it's even finished. Or during it. You know, towards the very end of a sitcom or something like that, they cover the screen in what's coming up next, while you're still trying to watch the programme that's on now. And I think that it's got to stop.
Yeah, I think I've actually seen them, you know, when they do the thing where they squeeze the picture.
Yes.
I've seen that during a programme, been done actually during a programme.
What?
And thought, what is going on here? It's only for a brief second, but they'll do... Don't forget, such and such coming up afterwards.
I mean, how annoying is that? Can you think of anything else that you buy that you would put up with being shouted at with adverts for something else. I mean, if you bought a CD, for instance, and during the course of one of the tracks, somebody would be shouting at you to buy some other CDs that you might like. Can you imagine such a thing? It's inconceivable. Or you're going to the theatre, and halfway through the first act, some bloke gets on stage and says, well, if you like this, then you like something else that's on down the road. And they're only doing it because no one's complaining about it. You know, apart from, as I say, grumbling under our breath, like I do. Well, I don't grumble under my breath. I shout at the TV. It's one of the reasons I'm on, like, 6 pills a day now. I've given myself a brain tumour.
That's why I don't watch it.
By shouting at the TV all the time. But they're doing it, and it's getting worse. And I thought, the very end of The Sopranos, very, very dramatic. And every episode up to that point, as soon as the music starts... And, you know, they've spent millions of pounds to put you in a certain mood by the end of the programme. Hundreds of millions if it's a film that they've just shown. And the main protagonist, if it's a movie, may have just died. Or, you know, or they may have just got married, or they may have saved the world, or whatever it might be. They've spent 6 months of their lives, hundreds of people... and hundreds of millions of pounds to make this product, to put you in a certain frame of mind at the end of it, if it's a film or TV programme, whatever. And you need that 5 minutes or so of music at the end to come back to the real world, because you've invested a lot of yourself in this. But what they do by shouting all over the end of it is to wrench you from what you've just invested 2 hours of your life watching, and shake the world in your face. And it's every time it's annoying. It's more than annoying. It's just infuriating. Do you not find? Well, you don't watch TV.
Well, when I've seen it and they scroll at the bottom, coming up next, I find that annoying.
Yeah, everything about it. Them shouting at you, them squeezing the screen, them putting flashes before the program that you're watching is actually finished yet, and they're doing it because they think that we're not going to take our business elsewhere.
Well, they think that we won't be there in 4 minutes' time after the ad break.
Yeah.
Don't they? So they have to say, coming up next is...
Right.
The Sopranos, or Coronation Street, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Even though we know what's on next.
Yes. It's none of their business what we watch next. Just leave us alone. I mean it. Leave us alone.
The trouble is there's too much choice now, isn't there, with all these digital satellite channels.
And there's another thing, by the way.
It's not like you're looking at your TV guide anymore with your 4 channels and thinking, ooh,
well, I do, because really, in truth, there's only 5, 6, 7, 8, now there's 10 channels that have actually got anything that a normal person would want to watch. And that's true, isn't it? All of the rest are completely rubbish. I don't even know why they bother.
How many episodes of The Sopranos?
I think there's a lot. I mean,
as a starter like myself is going to watch.
You should watch them all. It's the best thing that's ever been shown on television.
I know, but how many hours is this going to take?
A lot.
20?
No, much more than that. I think
25.
The number that's coming to mind is 78.
78 hours?
It's a lot, isn't it? I think it's 78 episodes.
Oh, no.
Well, they had 6 series, and there's usually 24 series in, 24 episodes in a series.
Do you ever
That's
worry
actually more than 78.
Do you ever worry you're devoting too much of your life to
television?
To television.
Well, what else is there?
Books.
Going out?
No, I don't think so.
Theatre.
Theatre? Art, maybe.
Books.
Books.
Going for a walk.
I can't remember the last time I read a book.
Driving fast cars.
Yeah.
If my life depended on it, I wouldn't recall the last book that I read. It's so long ago, I've got absolutely no idea. I'm amazed that bookshops still exist. No one reads books anymore. Window shopping?
A nice walk in the park.
Yes, I could do that.
With a friend.
Friend.
With a pal.
No.
You go ice skating?
I have absolutely no desire to go ice skating. Why would you want to go ice skating?
It's just a suggestion.
Going around, and they'll probably have a couple in London this year, and
I know what you like. You go down the South Bank,
strap their blades on, and just go round and around and around, and hoping beyond measure that they don't fall on their arse. And if they get out, you know, with the same number of bone fragments as they went in, then it's a success. That doesn't seem like that much fun to me. Plus, it's freezing cold.
Go-karting, then.
Paintball.
Well, now, those two things do have an appeal, but I can't picture myself ever doing them. But if somebody organised it for me, and it was free, and they drove me there and back, and it was part of a larger... We should do that.
Yeah.
As a group.
Team building.
Not us as a group. I mean, you know, as a LBC as a group.
Yeah.
But I think it would probably get
rough.
violent, wouldn't it?
Would be very
Scores would be settled.
Would be tears.
Yeah. Chigwell, hello, Jeff.
Oh yeah, Nick. How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Thank you. You've covered about 5 or 6 subjects since I've tuned into you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's a bit hard for my little brain to get around. Anyway, the guy in Sopranos, the main character.
Now, before you say another word, you're not going to tell us anything about the last episode, because
No.
not everyone gets more 4. Go on.
I'm not a Sopranos watcher. I've
Right.
watched it a few episodes. It's only because my brother's got me into it in that respect. But he's the double. He's a spitting image of that guy. He does the advert on the television with the airway.
James Gandolfini.
Yeah. The big guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the one that tucks into his grub, yeah?
They all do. Food seems to be a major part of being in the mafia.
Italian life, yeah. But my brother, Michael, is double, spitting image of him. And the only reason he got into The Sopranos was because I got him into, what's that film with Robert De Niro, the first one he made with the gangsters with...
Goodfellas.
Joe Pesci? Was it Joe Pesci?
Yeah, Goodfellas.
Was it? Yeah. And I got him into that, and then he started watching Sopranos, and he's totally hooked on Sopranos.
Well, he would be. It's like looking in the mirror for him.
Oh, God. And absolutely true. But I'm not a big Sopranos watcher, so you must excuse my ignorance on the Sopranos side if you throw any questions at me. But that's all I picked up on your last topic.
Well, everyone has the opportunity tonight. Give it a go. It's, as I've said several times already, it is the best thing that's ever been on television.
I do like it, though.
And it's on from the very beginning tonight at midnight.
I'll have to get the box set.
Do it.
But at the end of the day, no, it's nice to hear you anyway.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
I haven't heard you for a long while. But, excuse me, can I just change the subject? Or
Oh, please do. There is no subject.
yeah, but I didn't want to phone in about religion or anything like that. But, fireworks, was that going off tangent, or...?
No, it fits right in. Well, I only do tangents.
It might be, yeah. No, I just think they should be sort of like orchestrated and not sold to the public.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, I know Paul Ross said the exact reverse of what I'm about to say, but those fireworks that you buy in a shop and you spend 50 quid on them and they're over in about 30 seconds, they're rubbish. Why would anybody waste their money? The only fireworks that are any good are in major displays. And I saw a couple this year, and they were both weak.
All right.
So maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's...
well, I mean...
maybe councils went with a different supplier this year to those they chose last year.
Who did I hear on LBC saying that they were just basically selling explosives to miners, you know, that they can get their hands on via, like, sort of like, if you go down a boot sale or something like that with dodgy sellers and stuff like that. And, yeah, they can, you know.
Well, that's exactly what that is, yeah.
It is. I mean, I'm not a killjoy. I mean, I used to hold a few bangers and... Oh, no, not hold a few bangers, hold a few sparklers and throw a few bangers when I was a kid, but we didn't have it at the height that it is now. I mean, I was speaking to my daughter earlier on, and there was a firework I heard last night that was 120... that was 120 repeater. And
what's that?
Well,
it bangs 120 times.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yep, exactly. 120 times.
That's a bit annoying.
Well, it was just a bang for 120 times.
Right.
It didn't give of any, like, colourful
What, no
light.
pretty colours or nothing?
No. Just bang, 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 and that was it.
Where's the pleasure in that?
Exactly. I'll blame the Chinese. They invented them.
Okay, Jeff, as long as you don't say anything controversial, that's excellent.
No, of course not. No.
All right. Hey, I've got to go. We've passed the travel, but thanks a lot. All right, cheers, mate. Ta-da.
I know you are. Cheers, mate.
It's 8:16. Here's Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. Yeah, still those problems in Dagenham all over.
Hi, honey. How are you?
One thing I haven't mentioned yet, and it's it's at the forefront of my mind, is why I'm here. Now, in radio in general, when somebody leaves under negative circumstances, that person no longer exists, nor have they ever existed. It's almost like you've upset the Secret Services and they've wiped your file. But this isn't the case here. Ian has left of his own accord. Ian is no longer here. That's why I'm here. Now, I should have said that right at the beginning, but having been in the business for so long and seen people leave stations that I worked at, the normal procedure is never to mention them again on the air. But he didn't leave under unpleasant circumstances. He's gone to do other things, which will become clear when he starts doing them. So that's why I'm here, right? I felt it felt a bit odd not saying anything, but then it felt odd to say something. But no, I've blurted it out. That's your fault, Helen. You're the producer. Here is Tooting Beck. Hello, Julian.
How you doing?
All right.
Good. Anyway, you asked me about these funny cameras out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, that is the automatic number plate recognition system.
No, because that's the congestion charge.
No, this is nationwide. And you find it on things like the A40, the A13, way out of the congestion zone.
Really?
That is just tracking your car as it travels around the country.
Really?
In case you get up to any naughty.
Well, no, presumably they're putting the infrastructure in place to charge us for every mile we drive everywhere.
Yeah, but I think that'd be more likely to be GPS-based.
That's true.
I think this is more just part of the grid thing that one of the members of the government, I won't mention his name, but used to be the Northern Ireland Secretary. He's part of, he's setting the infrastructure up just to, make sure they know where you are.
But if it's only on a few roads, then that doesn't really...
It's on all the arterial routes out of London.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose they'll get around to the little roads if they want to.
But that seems an extraordinary amount of money to spend on just knowing where people are.
Well, they're only bothered when it's someone that they have to try and track.
Right.
In a situation where something bad might occur or might have occurred, then they can try and find their route that they took and, crisscrossing or just going home to where they happen to stay. Anyway, yes, that's the...
And how do you know this?
Well, it isn't secret. It is out there. It is available to find out. It isn't a secret thing. Obviously, the cameras are out there, so you can see where they are.
The truth is out there.
Well, someone's truth is out there. But yeah, that is what it is. It's just. I mean, I'm sure if if you haven't done anything, they're not going to bother.
Oh yeah.
Worrying
sure.
about where Mr. Smith is going
right.
to buy his potatoes, but unless he's going to stick him up someone's exhaust pipe or something.
Right. Okay.
Anyway.
Thanks a lot, Julian.
No problem. See you later.
It still sounds... his explanation doesn't make me feel any more comfortable. It still sounds very sinister and suspicious to me that they would put them up without telling us. Don't you think?
Apparently they're not allowed to... They're either not allowed to keep the data for a certain amount of time, or they're not allowed to use it for some purposes, I read. Like speeding.
Yes, sure.
They can measure it, I think, or something.
I've thought this for a long time, and every time I say it, everyone shouts me down. But they're shouting me down with less enthusiasm as time goes on. You will be tracked from space every inch you drive in your car, and it'll happen quite quickly as well. And they will fine you not only for exceeding the speed limit, because what they could do, they could put this thing in your car and make your car unable to exceed the speed limit. But what that would prevent them from doing is fining you every time you exceed the speed limit. And so now, when this comes into being, every inch that you travel, every speed that you're doing will be relayed back into space. And we all do it. You just drift over the speed limit all the time, don't you? It's not just me.
Especially in London, you can't drive at the speed limit if you want to move with the traffic flow.
Yeah, but 30 is not that great. And cars these days that can do 155 miles an hour, they just drift past 30 without you even noticing.
Mm-hmm.
And now, at the moment, if you are unlucky enough to be passing a speed camera, then you'll get done. But when they start tracking you from space, they'll find you every single time that you do it. We'll have to start saving up now. But they'll also be able to get you every time you wait on a yellow line, every time you do a U-turn, every time you go through yellow on a traffic light, and so on and so on and so on. These will be looked back on as the golden days of free motoring. Isn't that depressing?
So everyone get in your cars now.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Go crazy. Temple Fortune. Hello, Nigel.
Hi, Nick. How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Welcome to your new slot.
I'm taking care of it for a while.
I rang about two things about different TV shows. But I just want to, if I can, correct Julian. The new camera system put up around London that's on big dark poles with about 6 camera heads.
Yeah.
Is actually for the low emission zone cameras that come in to force in February 2008.
Okay, so that's... Well, how do you know that?
Well, so I work for a newspaper, and it was in our newspaper, and I spoke to the TfL press office about 6 months ago when I photographed them all being installed. So that's what they're for. They're the low emission zone cameras around London. They're on all the A roads to track vehicles that are trucks that enter the low emission zone.
Now, is the low emission zone the same as the congestion charge zone?
Well, basically what it is, it's the low emission zone is being introduced, which looks at, I think it's HGVs and large goods vehicles. And these are the cameras, because I photographed a load of these a few months ago, and they're on all the major A roads around London. They're not ANPR, I promise you they're not. And what they basically do is it's obviously just it's like a congestion charge camera. It photographs trucks in, and trucks that don't meet the requirements get a fine.
What's ANPR?
No, they're not ANPR.
No, what is ANPR?
Well, ANPR is automatic number plate recognition.
Oh, right.
And the police use it with 2 different databases. The database is for anti-terrorists, and the other database is for vehicles that are not insured, drivers wanted on warrants,
It seems a bit wasteful, doesn't it? I mean, how many cameras are they going to put up on these roads?
No, I think the ANPR is a great system. I'm very anti-speed camera and anti-red traffic light camera, but I've been out with the cops doing jobs, and the ANPR camera is great, because guys who are driving cars that are uninsured, or got no driving license, or are disqualified, or are wanted on warrant, and the amount of people that they catch also have weapons in their car once the vehicle's been stopped. So I think that's a good idea. But we've gone camera mad. I got done in the West End twice in the last 6 months for parking on double yellow vans. And luckily, I spoke to Clive about it a little while ago. I got off both of them because I proved that the offences were unenforceable. So it really made me happy.
Why are they unenforceable?
Well, because very, very simply is that the government and councils expect you to comply with the law to the letter. Because, as you know, they're a pernicious bunch of devils.
Yeah.
However, they also have to comply with the law, and if the road signs and the road markings are not complicit with the regulations...
Right. You got off on a technicality.
Well, it's a technicality that had been put in place by those lovely people at the council who didn't do their job properly.
All right, good for you, Nigel.
Can I just mention something about TV shows?
Go on.
I think 2 TV shows I think are fantastic are the Law and Order series. You know, they do Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and then the basic Law and Order, and then the other I think is CSI is really good.
Yeah, that's that never really appealed to me. It's like watching people cut people up.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's very, very clever to show forensics. But I think that the Law and Order series, the way it's written, the acting, the plots, I think they're just amazing. When you look at the bill, it's just like, by comparison, it's so dull, isn't it?
Well, by comparison, most American TV programs that we get over here compared to British ones really well.
Yeah, when you look at ER, I mean, isn't ER and Chicago Hope great?
Well, I don't really watch those either. I watch so much television. I'm trying to wean myself off, and I almost refuse to watch anything new.
Oh, really?
So I do tend to watch the same things over and over and over again.
But just go back to cameras around the City of London. All the City of London is ringed by ANPR also, but those ones that you see on the flagpole, there's 6 heads of them pointing down.
Yeah.
Are the new low emission zone cameras to try and catch truckers out from February.
Right. Or at least that's what they're telling us they are. Thanks a lot, Nigel. I wonder if they're going to be catching out buses, because they seem to spew out more noxious fumes than anything else that's on the road. And they've got no one on them.
London's...
Right, so what are we doing?
Yeah, where's Carol, by the way? I was waiting to hear her dull tones on the weekend. She's off again, on holiday again. Here is Lingfield in Surrey. Gary?
Hello there, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Good, hello Nick. Yeah, I'm phoning up. I love the fireworks, I love them. But I've got out with a girl, funny enough, called Catherine Will.
Yeah.
You know, her name's Catherine.
Right.
Her name is actually Catherine Will. It's a real lovely girl. But Nick, you don't have to sound like that Alan Partridge.
Well, if with material like you've got, and with my vocal delivery, by this time next year, Gary, we could be millionaires. Here is Kentish Town. Hello, Pat.
Hi, Nick. How's it going?
All right.
You were saying about people licensing their cars as minicabs.
Oh, yeah.
When you take your car in to get it licensed, you've got to show your public carriage office license as a driver. And to get that, you've got to have a medical... So, first of all, you've got to do your medical, then you've got to get your criminal record checked, and then you apply for the licence, and all that's about 400 quid. So, you've got to pay the 400 quid to get your public carriage office driver's licence, and then you can get your car licence. And to get your car licence, you've got to take an MOT, which is no more than 14 days old, in with you, and then you've got to, every 6 months, get your car MOT'd. So it's not that cheap, is it?
Well, they're comparing it to £1,591 a year, and it says in the papers that it costs £82 in advance, followed by £27 a year licence fee.
Yeah, no, I'm a private hired driver, and you just pay £100. You get your car booked in, and you pay £100 over the phone to their booking centre. I don't know where this 27 quid comes in.
Well, yeah, it's almost... 82 and 27, that's near enough.
Yeah, I suppose so.
109.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think it's that easy, and I think the people that are driving around in the flashy cars might be, high-end chauffeurs. That's what I'm thinking, because I've seen a few of these, I've seen quite a few expensive cars, and I'm thinking, for, like, company directors who want to be driven...
Well, in a Bentley, yeah, but not in a two-seater sports car. I mean, if you've got a two-seater sports car, you don't want it to be chauffeured, do you?
No. Well, you never know. Maybe they've lost their licence, do you know what I mean?
That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah? So, yeah, I just wanted to point
like Joe Walsh, lost their licence, now they don't drive, yeah. Okay, thanks, Pat.
Right, cheers, mate.
Ta-ra. There was, details about the mafia in the newspaper the other day, and how, widespread the problem is in Italy, and it's absolutely amazing the amount of money that these people are earning. This is about the Sopranos that are on tonight. This is how we got on this subject. The mafia is now Italy's biggest business. Can you imagine that? There's no business in Italy that makes more money than the mafia. £63 billion a year. They commit 50 crimes an hour, according to a new report. Organised crime represents 7% of the Italian economy, as members of the country's 4 main mafia organisations branch out from extortion and drug running into legitimate industries such as food. Mafia Inc. has overtaken the state-owned energy plant as Italy's biggest firm. That just is... that's hard to get your head around. They're bigger than... Well, now Google, apparently, is bigger... Not that I'm saying that Google are the mafia, but that has to be their next... avenue of attack, doesn't it? Cyber crime. But Google now is bigger than Citibank, which is the world's biggest bank. And they don't... you can't touch Google. It's almost as though they don't exist. They got some offices in wherever it is. in California. But what do? They do search, and they have adverts on a page. And for that, the two guys who are, like, what, 16, 17 years old, own a company that's bigger than the world's biggest bank. That's just... I can't conceive of such a thing. But the mafia's annual income from drugs is, in Italy alone, £40 billion. Italy's small family-owned businesses are particularly at risk of having to pay protection to the mafia. 80% of small businesses in Italy are paying the mafia. That's just incredible. Companies on the stock market with headquarters in Milan and Turin are also victims, not just small shops in Naples. The mafia made £21 billion from extortion last year, with 160,000 businesses, mostly in the south of Italy, paying up. Only 1 in 10 foreign investors was prepared to set up businesses in the south because of it. And there is a divide between the north and the south of Italy, much as there is in the north and south of most countries. I mean, even if you go to Wales, small as it is, the people in the south hate the people in the north. And it's usually for reasons of money, laziness. Because the people in the north of Italy, they consider themselves to be very industrious, particularly around Milan, and they think about the people in the south as being just a bunch of layabouts. You could say that about America as a continent. People in the States think the same about Mexico. I mean, the typical Mexican images of a man snoozing under a giant sombrero. And in Italy, it's exactly the same thing. The Farmers' Union said the mafia was adding... And here's where it gets a bit unpleasant. Well, I think any discussion about the mafia is going to get unpleasant at one time or another. They add... when you buy olive oil from Italy, it could have colza oil in it, because the mafia add flavouring to colza oil and sell it on as olive oil. Colza oil is used to lubricate machinery. So they use oil from machines and just put a label on it that says olive oil on it. It's also making mozzarella from milk powder imported from Colombia and brewing beer with banned genetically modified ingredients. From weaving factories to tourism to business to personal services, from farming to public contracts to real estate and finance, there's now a criminal presence in every economic activity in Italy. And the Inside Scoop starts at midnight tonight. Have you written it down? More 4. From episode 1 on. Thornton Heath. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Sam.
I was a bit surprised that Ian left. It's a bit of a shock.
Yeah? Sudden it happened.
Yeah. That's a shame. Never mind. He might be back. Anyway, I want to talk about the Spice Girls video. I think it was too raunchy. I think we're not Spice Girls. There's Spice Mums now. I mean, women and their videos, they're in their underwear, and it's not right.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier on, the only acceptable way for a woman to present herself in the media is as a prostitute. Do they all look like prostitutes?
Yeah, but young girls, impressionable girls will be watching them and thinking they should dress and look like them. And
they do. Parents gladly send young girls out looking like hookers.
It's not right. It's just not right.
Well, that isn't right. No, but then neither and women are complicit in this. They don't wear underwear in front of a photographer by accident. They're doing it deliberately, and so they are complicit in their own not demise exactly, but their own subjugation.
They're older and mature now, so they should cover up a bit more.
Yeah, exactly.
They look nice. They can still wear nice clothes. They don't have to wear that.
Look like hookers, yes.
Get to put their dresses on.
I mean, they all look like they're missing a pole.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I haven't seen it, Sam, nor will I ever see it unless I'm held down.
But even now, on the telly, all the music videos, all the women are like that. All the women are dressed in their underwear. None of them are wearing proper clothes.
No, I know. But it's not just in videos. It's in the newspapers. Every woman that is in the papers is dressed like a hooker. And it's as though it's as though the 80s and the 90s and the noughties never happened. We're still in 1973.
Yeah, I know. And also, I just said about fireworks tonight. I went to see a nice display at Sanderstead. It's a charity one as well. Some money goes to charity, to the Rotary Club. And it was good. They had all this James Bond themes playing while the fireworks were going. And they had a huge bonfire and a fun fair, so that was nice.
Well, it sounds super duper.
It was the first time I went where I paid, because usually I go to the one in Streatham, which is like free. But I was too late for that one in Streatham.
Well, thanks for the information, Sam.
Okay.
Right, cheers, my dear.
Bye.
Ta-da. That was, it was detailed and in-depth. You haven't said barely a blind word tonight, Alex. What's up with you?
Miserable.
Miserable?
I don't like this dark evenings business.
Do you get sad?
SAD.
Yeah.
I was thinking of getting one of those lights.
It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Every time you see the sun from now until next July, you should run screaming outside.
I do. I actually open my blinds now.
Yeah. And open the window so that the sun falls on your face. Apparently, if it falls on your face and on the back of your hands, it is enough to, I mean, you don't have to, get your body out. As repellent as that sounds. But if it just falls on your face, you will feel better. And in the course of a week, there's usually, an hour or so of sun.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just get 5 minutes a day on average, then you'll stop moping.
Yeah.
Do you actually get, sad?
I think I might. Actually, I was seriously thinking of getting one of those lights because a friend of mine got one and said it worked for her.
Because this is one of those things like depression or like the flu. Men, you don't get the flu. You actually get a cold, but you ascribe to it much more serious condition than it actually is. And I think that people get. Say they've got sad in order to get time off work. They're not actually seasonally affectively disordered. They're just feeling a bit like, Well, we all do that. As soon as the sun starts racing to the horizon, then we all think of the possibilities that summer has given us that we missed.
I know. I just feel like hibernating. Do you get that? You just want to go and. Go somewhere cosy and stay
eat
there.
a lot, yeah.
And start stuffing your face.
Well, you've done...
I've done one of those.
It is cosy in there, and you've stuffed your face.
Oh.
You're halfway there.
Hooray.
You're feeling better already.
Look at this smile.
It's 8:45. Here's Travel with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. We're still looking at those problems.
Here are the studio calls flashing up on the indicator.
Barnet. Oh, Mirelle.
Oh, Nick, hello. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
I heard you talking about, your one... Oh.
Heard me talking about the what now?
Sorry, my phone's a bit dodgy, Nick.
Right.
I do apologise.
Press 1 to call me back.
Yeah, exactly. I nearly did, actually. You were talking... One of your producers was talking about feeling a bit sort of yuck and with this horrible weather.
Yeah.
He needs some vitamins. He needs vitamin D, which is a sunshine vitamin.
Yeah.
B-complex. And a good multivitamin, and in a couple of weeks he'll be absolutely fine.
Right,
he doesn't need a light bulb.
that's actually not true, Morel.
It's absolutely true. I tell you why. Because I had exactly the same. In the summer, I'm fine. I'm, really, really, I feel fantastic. And when it gets dark and horrible, I want to hibernate. And somebody advised me on what to take, and it took about 2 weeks for them to kick in. It's fine.
Yeah, but that could just have been coincidence.
I don't think it is, because I think if you're rushing and you're busy at work and you don't eat the sort of the proper foods that you have to, if you're a bit stressed, you're not getting the vitamin. No, I don't think it is.
Well, I used to take vitamins for decades, and one of these multivitamin pills that looks like it's like a horse pill. It's so large, and I would go for a super extra double strength, slow release, and all of the rest of it. It cost a fortune.
Yeah.
And then I thought, actually, are these things doing me any good? Would I notice the difference if I stopped taking them? So I went cold turkey, and there was no difference at all in taking them to not taking them. I think the whole vitamin industry is a giant con.
Were you drinking sort of a lot of tea? I mean, when you were taking them, were you taking them with water or taking them with tea or coffee? Because if you're taking a vitamin tablet and then you're having caffeine afterwards, it's not going to work.
Well, when you say afterwards... what do
Yeah,
you
like
mean?
if you, for instance, if you've had your vitamin tablets and then say, or you say you get up for breakfast, you have your breakfast and you have a cup of tea or coffee, and you think, oh, I'll take my multivitamin, and you're just drinking the tea, you're killing it off straight away because you're taking caffeine with the vitamin. So you might as well not have taken it in the first place.
Well, that's not true either. Where did you get that from?
Absolutely, it is, because caffeine, it kills off the vitamin.
Says who?
Says me. I'm reading this book called The Mood Cure. Okay,
Right.
by psychotherapist.
Oh, well, a psychotherapist.
I have my no, but seriously, Joe, caffeine is, you know, you get it in everything, and if you're taking it after something like a vitamin tablet, you shouldn't be taking your tablets with tea or coffee anyway.
Right, well, that can't be it. I mean, I do drink coffee, but I don't pop a pill with a coffee because it's usually too hot. No,
a lot of people do. If they're having a vitamin tablet with breakfast, you do it automatically. Don't
But if I'm a controlled experiment, which I'm not, then the results of my experiment are that vitamins don't do anything for you at all. And if you think about it, how can something that's been boiled down and squeezed into a pill be as good for you as, for instance, eating apples and bananas and cheese and nuts and fruit and all the rest of it?
Oh, it's not. I mean, you should be having your apples, bananas, cheese, and nut and fruit as well. It's not a substitute. It's an added, because
But it's sold as a substitute.
Oh, yeah, but you still have to... I mean, if you don't eat fruit and you don't eat your vegetables and you don't eat your greens and you just eat vitamin tablets...
Then it's not going to do you any good at all.
It's not going to help you as much...
But I do all of that. I mean, I do eat relatively well. I always have.
Yeah.
And I take the vitamin pill on top for years and years and years, and then I just stop taking it, and I don't feel any different on it and not on it. And so the only conclusion you can bring is what a giant waste of money that was.
Yeah, maybe everybody's different.
It just turns your pee bright yellow. That's all it does. Which means that all of the things that you just popped in the pill are being whooshed straight out the other end.
Nick, you do make me laugh. Oh, he can try it. Alex can try it and see how he goes on. Just try the vitamin D and B complex.
Vitamin D and B complex.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do it. You're going to do it, Alex?
Writing it down.
Oh, he's writing it down.
There you go.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mirelle. Hey, you're not one of these people that hangs around health food stores, are you?
No, I don't.
Right, okay. No. Because those people all look like they need vitamins.
No, I don't. I don't.
Thanks a lot.
I'm perfectly normal. As normal as the corner can be anyway.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Ta-da.
Bye.
Here is Clapham. Susanna.
Hi.
Oh, Susanna.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. And about vitamins, oh my God, I got the same feeling like you. I just think it's poppycock, to be honest.
Well, so's echinacea, so's all of that stuff. Unless a doctor has actually written you out a prescription, I wouldn't even bother looking at it. Echinacea, I took it for about 3 weeks straight, trying to get rid of a cold, which I still have. Like 5 weeks later, you can hear me a little nasally, right?
Well, yeah, slightly. It's really funny because I actually work in a very famous chemist, and I work in perfumery. And I started a new job about 5 or 6 weeks ago, yeah. And I'm like you, I don't take anything. And I went in, and if you just watch the amount of vitamins that are sold day to day,
yeah,
I just think...
You lot are wasting your money. You're throwing it away.
Well,
and people buy it because they don't eat well. They think that by popping a pill, it's going to make up for not eating fruit and vegetables. Well, it isn't.
As part of a diet, that's fine. As part of a diet, it just gives you an extra, I suppose, boost.
I don't think it does. I don't think it has any effect at all.
Well,
because if you think about it, your body is... we're basically cavemen. We haven't changed at all. And so what we really want, what our bodies really want is more or less what that guy, a bunch of scientists said the other day. Eat what you can gather off bushes, berries, nuts, and so on. Have some meat every now and again, because if you think of what it used to be like when you were living in caves, you couldn't pop down to the supermarket and get sliced ham all the time. You were lucky if you killed something every now and again. So you get a bit of meat occasionally. You do exercise all the time because there was no other way of getting around.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't drink any alcohol because they didn't have any. And so that's the reason that we're all dying, is because we're treating our bodies to things that they haven't
used to.
Yeah, we haven't evolved physically as we have mentally. We're still the same.
But even looking back at generations past, I remember growing up and eating, you know, your meat, your 2 veg, your potatoes, your certain slices of bread in the morning. And I tell you what, we were fit. You know, as long as you ran out of the playgrounds and did your exercise, you were fine. But I think it's become a great big industry, really, you know, for people that are gullible enough to do it, I suppose.
People want to...
They want to be healthy, that's what it is.
But they don't want to do anything that is healthy. They want to be fit, but they don't want to exercise, and they want to be slim, but they want to keep eating cake. Which is why your supermarket is full of diet crisps and low-fat, this, that and the other. You know, if you're trying to lose weight, have a salad.
You know what they say, if you want to lose weight, put less in your mouth.
Yeah. Or swallow less, anyway.
Yeah, that's
You can put as much as you like in your mouth, just don't
Do
swallow
you
it.
exercise? Do you exercise yourself? Do you go to the gym?
Well, ordinarily, I would say yes, but because I've been feeling under the weather, the last month, I've done nothing at all.
And have you gained weight?
No.
No.
Well, a little bit, I suppose, but not really.
Yeah.
I mean, my clothes still fit.
Yeah, I just do a lot of walking. I tend to do a lot of walking. I'm not.
Apparently that's not enough, Susanna. You've got to actually go out there and,
Oh my God, I'm on my feet like all
chop
day.
down trees.
Chop down trees.
On
No,
your
no.
feet? That's not exercising, standing
No,
behind a
it's like
counter.
No, I know, and I do a lot of running around, but I also, you know, run a home and everything else. My hours is not a standard 40-hour week. Mine seems to go on forever. But you just get on with the best of it. You make the best of it, you know, running around and backwards and forwards, and you do lose weight. I just tend to, if you can, just tend to watch what you're eating and try and drink loads of water, which is a natural, you know, you don't have to... There's one thing I must say, though, I do drink bottled water. I don't drink tap water.
Yeah, I've stopped ordering bottled water in restaurants. I mean, every time you sit down, they'll say, would you like some water? And they say, still or sparkling.
Sparkling,
and I had, for a while there, stopped saying, no, tap's fine, because I just felt cheap.
Yeah.
Particularly if the meal wasn't going to be very expensive. I thought, well, I better spend a bit more with them.
Get some sparkling.
Because I'm not going to be very adventurous on the wine. I'll choose the third least expensive bottle of wine. Because you can't choose the most the cheapest, because then you do look like you're tight. But you can't choose the second cheapest, because that's what everyone would do if they're tight and they didn't want to be embarrassed. So now you have to choose the third least expensive bottle of wine.
You're middle of the road Joe.
Yeah.
You're not too skinflint, but then you're
almost as though, and it's almost gives the impression that you know what you're doing and you want that specific bottle of wine, that you're not just buying it from price.
that you're kind of a connoisseur.
Yeah, exactly.
And can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
I'm Italian, regarding what you said about Italy, and it's so true. It's so true.
Where in Italy are you from?
I'm from the northeast,
Right.
up almost on the Swiss border.
Right.
And the north of Italy compared to the south, it's almost like two different worlds.
Well, it's particularly beautiful where you come from.
Oh, yeah.
That's around the lakes, right?
Yeah, Lago Blu, and yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. But then again, you go down to the Amalfi Coast, it's a completely, it's amazing, an amazing place.
I mean, you come from one of the most beautiful places on earth. What on earth are you doing here, in Clapham?
Not a bad place.
You know, no offence to Clapham, but it's not Lake Maggiore, is it?
Lago Maggiore. Maybe not, but some circumstances brought me here.
Right.
Could the word be love?
On the run from Cosa Nostra.
The Mafia,
Yeah.
La Cosa Nostra.
All right.
No, my luck probably is. Take care.
How's that whole love thing going for you, Susanna?
It's absolutely brilliant, thank you.
Glad to hear it. Thanks a lot. Cheers,
Thank
my dear.
you. Bye-bye.
Ta-da. Right, what have we discussed so far?
Right.
We've got absolutely no idea.
Okay,
I hope that the...
Yappy dogs.
Yappy
Fireworks.
Dogs. Oh, yeah.
Paul McCartney, why we don't like him.
Well, I don't think we even... we didn't even touch on that, Bailey.
Kylie Minogue...
and that's one of the things that you're not allowed to say, by the way. You're not allowed to say that you don't like Paul McCartney. And you're not even allowed to say Paul McCartney. You have to say Sir Paul McCartney.
Oh, well.
Like we're always doffing our caps in this silly country to people who have been ennobled for doing nothing other than making a ton of money at what they enjoy doing.
He's got a new box set out or something, hasn't
I thought
he?
you were going to say new girlfriend. Is she half his age as well?
Kylie Minogue.
I mean, he's practically 70 years old, and he's going out with a girl that's half his age. Who could have imagined that it wouldn't have worked out? Hands in the air, please. Oh, that's everyone. Kylie Minogue.
You compared her to a Brazilian prostitute. Dion's third eye.
You can't just say that and leave it hanging there. Only in the manner of her dress. She does look like a prostitute, the way she cavorts around in, fishnets and precious little else.
A little harsh, I think.
But true.
Dion's third eye.
Oh,
Rubbish radio shows.
I'd almost forgotten about that.
Eid, Diwali, Bonfire Night.
Yeah.
The Queen is glamorous.
Queen isn't glamorous, she's frumpy. No offence, Your Majesty, but...
Oh, I can't read that. Well, South Cheam is in darkness.
I'm amazed that you've actually written this stuff down. I was only kidding, but she's actually making notes.
Yep.
Nick Abbott.
How may I help you?
I wouldn't know who Giselle was if she, if I fell over in the street. She's the most fabulous of all supermodels, or something like that, and now she's refusing to take the dollar. Who's Giselle? It sounds like something that David Attenborough would do a programme about.
I've no idea either.
Oh, come on, mate. Giselle.
Come on.
I would imagine that...
bloke.
Yeah, you're the only bloke here. I would imagine that in your bedroom there'd be a poster of like a Lamborghini on one wall and Giselle on the other.
Yeah, and I've got one of those pictures of a motorbike with a naked woman leaning...
draped over it.
Yeah, draped across it.
As a calendar.
Yeah.
Very sophisticated.
Correct.
Yeah,
it's
beautiful.
Exactly describes my room.
Giselle. Never heard of her. Well, I've heard of her. Annoyingly, I've heard of her. I take exception to that. I'm trying to rid my life of frippery.
Does she just have the one name, then?
Yeah, apparently, yeah. Like Madonna. That's irritating, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm so famous, I only have one name.
I only need one name.
Right. Despite the fact that that we, between the two of us, we couldn't find her with both hands.
I'd try.
Here is Catford. Oh, Trixie.
Hi, I'm the kind of person who avoids all that frippery. It's Trixie.
Who's Giselle?
Giselle, I think it is. I don't know. Goodness knows.
Right.
Who is she? Sorry, I'm in a really good mood. I love this weather. This is my time of the year.
Do you mean autumn because of the leaves and so on? You don't mean the dark?
I love it. I walk through the cemeteries because they've got beautiful trees, and this has been the most beautiful autumn ever. And the leaves are falling, and
unfortunately, the indigenous trees this country, they don't get that colourful. They just sort of go a bit
need to go
grand.
To the I'm quite serious. Go to a cemetery that's got trees, and at this time of the year, particularly this year, because our autumn is particularly beautiful, it is gorgeous.
Yeah, the colours are quite good this year, and I think it's because of the rubbish summer we've had, something like that. I went to a place to see some colour, and they had a lot of Japanese trees, acers, they call them, and they turned spectacular colours.
Yep.
That's what the real autumn colour that you have in your mind is.
You know what the autumn, why they get
Sheffield Park, it's called. It's down by Gatwick Airport.
Okay.
It's run by the National Trust.
But you know why trees
It's beautiful.
the leaves change colour, don't you?
Yeah, because the tree stops sending out sap.
And what it does, it actually takes back certain things from the leaves before it drops them. And as it takes out the chemicals from the leaves to get its resources back, so to speak, the leaves change colour. That's the reason why.
Is it?
And I learnt that in Finland because we were talking about leaves changing colour in the autumn. It's called autumns are called ruska over there in Lapland, particularly, and the leaves turn spectacular colours over there. It's great.
So they turn a colour because they're...
Yeah, I presented a radio programme about it. We explained it to them.
Hey, DJ!
Yeah! No, we did it. It was on Radio Finland. This is the external service.
Ah, right. Wonderful. Radio Finland.
Yeah. We broadcast it all over the place. It was just a small little show, and I explained why the leaves were changing colour.
Radio in Finland. That sounds like you could die of boredom listening to it.
Oh, shut up. I was there too. For a while.
So it pulls out all of the goodness from a leaf, and that's why
it pulls the goodness out from the leaf.
Right.
That's why they change colour, and then they drop their leaves.
Right, and then in autumn, it squirts it all back out again.
In autumn, they take it back in, but the colour then is caused by the leaves taking the vitamins and chemicals or whatever they are back into the system so that it can make other
Right.
leaves.
So in spring, it squirts it out all. Yeah.
In spring, it
Right.
squirts out new baby leaves.
In autumn, it sucks it out, and in spring, it spits it back in again.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Birch trees in the
Trees are
spring.
disgusting. by the way.
They're not disgusting.
Go on.
That's disgusting. How dare you say that? In the springtime, then they're called mouse ears. On the baby leaves are called mouse ears.
Mouse ears?
Yes, and that's ear in Corvoot. That's just that's what they call the little baby leaves in the spring. But that's another thing. But I love this time of the year. It's fabulous. I'm sorry, Alex. Honestly.
Yeah, you're a bit you're a bit vibrant.
But you know why I am, because I explained it last time, a long time ago.
Well, then, no, I don't know what you are.
Swings, I go up and down.
Oh, right.
Yes, it's all right. It's just that this time of the year really gets to me. It's brilliant. And this is a good time of year for me, so I get the opposite of season affective disorder. Because light actually irritates me, and it makes me depressed.
Light irritates you?
Yes, it makes me depressed.
Light?
Yes, the bright light, the changing light. So never mind, don't worry.
So you get depressed by the sun?
I do. And it depends. Some people get depressed by the sun, but I happen to.
That's a first for me.
It's the change of light when you have problems with moods going up and down. The changes of light can actually exacerbate things.
I've got the hiccups.
Oh, you got hiccups? Oh, hold your breath.
No, that doesn't work either.
Yes, it does. I'll count.
No, it doesn't work. The only thing that actually works is drinking water from the opposite end of a cup, so that you have to bend over forwards.
But then you get the water everywhere, and it just makes a mess.
Well, no,
you get
practice makes perfect, Trixie.
I know what I'm talking about. I really do.
No, holding your breath doesn't work, and being frightened doesn't work. The only thing that's ever worked for me is because sometimes when you get hiccups, your mind goes back to programs that you've seen on television, people who've had hiccups for the last 30 years.
Yeah, and they're putting keys down their backs, and people are screaming.
Yeah, none of that works.
What will really stop
Drink from the opposite side of a glass of water. Can you picture that in your mind? Instead of putting your lips on the side that's nearest to you, bend your head over and put it on the side that's further away, and then you have to bend forward and drink.
You're impossible, you are.
It's true.
Drink a pint of water, holding your breath.
No, that doesn't work either.
It does. It works with me every single time.
Yeah, but you're weird.
No, I'm not weird. I'm just unusual.
Right.
That's
what I meant.
I like to think that I'm a bit of an enigma. Someone to brighten up your life.
Yeah.
And in any case, I could stop your hiccups immediately. If I turned up in the studio, that would give you a shock enough to stop your hiccups.
Yeah, and my heart.
Well, probably that too. But we won't talk about stopping your heart.
No.
It's not going to happen, don't worry.
No, because apparently I'm guaranteed to live until 2036 or something.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I'm guaranteed
My
to live
death
up
clock has been read.
2056 or something ridiculous.
Well, as long as we've got those years guaranteed, Trixie.
Yes. Well, I can always attend your funeral.
Oh, that's nice.
And I can always visit your grave, because, hey, I like graves.
Well, I'm sorry, but concerning my funeral, if your name's not on the list, you're not coming in.
But how do you know? How
would I know? Yeah.
Exactly.
I'll leave detailed instructions.
Oh, you are mean.
Anyway.
I add to your shows each time. So what's happening? I'm sorry, I'm a little confused. It's you're here this week.
Yes, well, Ian has decided to move on.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's very sad, because I know that he has a lot of fans out there.
Yeah.
Yes, so that is sad.
Well, we're all going to miss him.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure that if he moves on, he'll be found elsewhere. So that's okay.
He is gone, but not forgotten. Nor will he be out of your off your radar for very long. I wouldn't think.
No, No, I wouldn't think so either. So there you are, Sam.
All right. Cheers, my dear.
Right. Okay. So it's nice to speak to you, and I'll take care.
Don't ever call me if you're on a See, this is you up.
Yes. I won't call you in a downer.
No. Okay.
No, I never. I've been never.
I mean, that's a terrible thing for me to say. Perhaps you should call me on a down. I'll do my best to cheer you up.
I did once, and you gave me the ha word.
Ha.
Yes, and I have to be I'm very ha now, but I still don't have the other bit.
Ha.
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 Ha. Yes, the ha. I'm very ha at the moment.
Are you?
But I don't have the other bit.
Oh, from that. What are you talking about?
You know what I'm talking about, Mr. Abbott.
Oh, that.
Yes.
I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with more than my share of happiness.
Have you been blessed with more than your fair share of happiness?
Ha. I think at this time of the year, and particularly these last few days, yes, I think I have.
I had no idea what you were talking about.
I know, and you finally got it.
Yeah, well, Alex had to tell me.
Yes, well, exactly.
See, mentally, he's here. Mentally, I'm still at home just vegging out on my sofa with my mouth slightly agape. Huh?
Were you dragged in?
No, I dressed, in a masculine manner.
Of course. I wouldn't expect anything
No, of course.
less. No, of course.
All right, Trixie, thanks a lot, my dear.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
9:15. Here's Travel Now with Alan Joyce.
Thanks, Nick. It looks like the...
You're wondering what it's all about, and I can't tell you because I don't know myself.
Harlow, Tim.
Marlow, dear boy, Marlow. Gosh, I popped out of your programme a little while ago just to eat my tea, and I've just come back and Trixie was on. Blimey, I've got indigestion now. I don't know about you.
What did you have?
I had steak.
Steak? Well, you'll be dead by the end of the programme.
Why's that?
Red meat. Apparently you should run screaming from it.
Oh, please.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought. Oh, please. Yeah. I mean, I spent the last 20 years being a vegetarian, and I only have just seen the light, and I'm enjoying bacon. Oh, so yummy. And now they're telling me I can't have any more. Well, they can go and take a running jump at themselves. I'm eating it, and that's it.
Too many green vegetables are bad for you as well.
Are they?
Yeah.
Says who?
Well, it's no that if you eat vegetables all the time, unless they're sort of cooked properly, and eat sort of crunch on a lot of raw vegetables as well. Actually, because there is no sort of sogginess in them, as they go through the large intestines, you can. I'm not saying you would, but you can suffer some damage. Irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, that.
Well, yes. I mean, it's
I have heard that I have heard that it's best to make them, like you said, soggy, cook them a little bit so that they're more easily digestible. But that doesn't make any sense because cavemen didn't do that. They just ate them. They just pulled them out of the ground and ate them, didn't they?
They did wash them, and there is evidence that actually they did boil them. Mind you, my mum comes from the northwest of England, and if it wasn't boiled to within an inch of being a soup, then it wasn't cooked in her opinion. But I like them slightly crunchy, but well cooked.
But this al dente thing, that's a relatively new phenomenon because as a kid everything was boiled until it was indistinguishable. It's just like you say, it's just mush at the bottom of a pan.
Well, yeah, but I mean anything in moderation. I think, varied diet, I think, is varied. If you lived off one thing all the time, then you'd be pretty,
But one thing that they did say that actually does strike as being true is that you should go hungry every now and again, or just feel a little bit, you should get leaner. I mean, for the longest time now, we've been having all this stuff about, the size zero, or whatever the hell it is, and people like Posh Spice, you're starving yourself to death, dear. Have a cake.
Well, no, actually, funnily saying that, though, there is some evidence, actually, that a little bit of abstinence and sort of like washing the system out, sort of not this relentless passage of food all the time,
Quite.
Actually giving it a break, is actually good for you.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And I
don't think that would class as fasting. I think it's just toning it down a bit.
Yeah, just skipping a meal every now and again. Which is exactly what we had to do when we were, like I say, living in caves, and we haven't physically changed at all. We've got a little less hairy. We don't smell as bad, but that's it.
Yeah. Just a quick message for Trixie, was it, before the break?
Yeah.
Wiley Radio Finland, Sky Channel 0122.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
It's part of the World Radio Network bouquet of stations. So, yes, it's on there. YLE Radio Finland. And between you and me, it's fairly dull. But, yes, yeah, it's quite interesting.
Okay.
Automatic number plate recognition cameras. It's not just London. We've got some out here in Marlow, sitting on some of the main routes into and out of...
These are the things that look like
they
fat
look like
Smarty tubes.
Yeah, they do. They're actually nothing probably more than domestic closed-circuit cameras, for sort of security systems. But the point I was ringing to tell you was that the guy who spoke to you sort of like, at the top of the programme saying, that they are ANPR cameras, it's true to a certain extent. That's what they're being put up for. But any camera can be an automatic number plate recognition camera. It's just a camera at the end of the day.
Quite.
And what you pick out of the image of that camera determines what you watch. Face recognition is another one. People can determine face recognition. And in answer to your question about storing the data, that's true. They're not allowed to store the data. They have to operate dynamically. And what I mean by that is that if I were to ring up and say somebody has nicked my car, then they can enter my number into the system. And if the cameras recognise that number, it pops up there and then. And that, you can even get very clever systems where closed-circuit cameras in streets, if a camera recognises the number plate, they can all swing round to look at it immediately, that sort of thing.
Oh, come off it, Tim. You'd call up the police and they'd swing into action because someone would nick your car.
Well, they'd put your number on the database, so that if it passed through, somebody was driving it,
Would they? Would they actually even bother?
City of London do that as a matter of course. Okay. I know that because my ex-secretary now works for the City of London.
Well, I wish the bloke that had nicked my sat-nav had actually nicked my car.
Well, that's a very good point. But so dynamically, and also it's linked to the DVLA, so for tax disc dodgers and all that sort of stuff. If you haven't paid your tax, your number goes into the ANPR system, and if you're trailing along,
I'm glad you mentioned that, by the way, because November is the date that I have to do everything.
Oh, well, insurance,
you
get your
MOT.
tax disc online, the whole thing now, you don't even have to have your V5 or whatever it is, you can just ring up and quote the number and out it comes in the post on the switch card. But there's a great
I'll just send them a blank cheque and whatever they're going to find me, they can just take it from that.
What about the deeds to your house? That would probably just about cover it, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There is a famous example, actually, of a police, because cars actually have these things in now, and they talk on the back of cell phone data. They talk to and from the centre so they can update their databases. And cameras.
They do what now?
Police cars, the video-equipped police cars, some of them have ANPR software built into it. So as they are just driving around, every now and again you get a beep as a number plate passes through the system. There's a very famous instance, actually, of somebody in South Lambeth, not far from where I work. It popped up on a police computer. I think they actually showed it on telly as well. And the registration was something, 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 C something, something. But the nut that holds the number plate on was right in the middle of the C. So the ANPR recognised it as an E. You see, so it looked like an E from that point of view, black sort of thing. And they pull the car over, and no, the number plate was wrong, but it turns out that the car that they did want, the guy actually was wanted for armed robbery. So they sort of picked him up two ways.
Just sheer dumb luck.
Yep, you can download the software if you want to. You can get webcams now on your PC that will face track you. So if you move around in your chair, you don't have to sit in the camera all the time. The camera can actually figure out where your face is in the image, and it can turn the camera around to meet you. I have one of those on my on my PC at work for conferencing. It's very clever, very, very clever.
Right, that also sounds very sinister. I mean, we got I don't know, we've got a camera in here and it's pointing statically at me. If I started to be followed around the room by it, then I would raise a finger of complaint.
Well, it is possible. Yeah.
Okay, it's a brave new world.
I hate it, to be honest. Yeah, I think it's ludicrous. I mean, in London now, we pass through, a couple of years ago, it was 70 cameras a day. We now pass through 82 to 85 cameras a day as an individual, on average.
And they don't seem to actually be preventing crime. All they seem to be doing is providing exciting footage for the 9 o'clock news.
Exactly. But
because crime is going ever up as we're getting more and more cameras. So, with those two figures side by side would indicate that cameras actually encourage crime.
Well, speed trap by time, you're right, is coming. They measure the distance between cameras, and they measure the time you take between cameras, and they'll make an average workout, and they'll say, you couldn't have made it between A and B in a certain amount of time, therefore you must have been speeding. and therefore we'll issue you a ticket.
Yeah, those are particularly nasty. I mean, you can slow down for a speed camera, but if you have to slow down permanently until you get to where you're going.
Yeah, and you wait till the UK under a European Union directive or a memorandum of cooperation. The European is linked into the UK system, so that you could drive. I could drive from Marlow to Stuttgart, and I could be timed all the way.
And you could lose your license 50 times over.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot, Tim.
Thank you, matey.
Ta-da. When was the last time you took a flight?
I haven't got a passport.
You haven't got a passport?
No.
You haven't got a passport, you don't watch TV. What do you do?
Walk, read books, go to the theatre.
Do you?
Go to art galleries.
Have you seen the big crack in the in the Tate?
Have you?
No, it's just a crack in the floor.
Go and see it.
Really?
We'll go and see it.
Okay then.
It's brilliant.
Didn't someone fall in it?
Come on. How could it be brilliant? It's just a crack in the floor.
No, it's not. Go and see it. It's absolutely brilliant.
Okay then.
Didn't someone actually fall in it?
Well, on purpose, yeah.
Oh,
they did?
Well, yeah, because you'd have to be pretty stupid to fall down that.
The first thing that they ever put in there wasn't that the Zaha. Oh, that was Louise Bourgeois. Yeah, but the Zaha Hadid, crazy name, crazy gal, who did the big double-ended tube. Like the world's biggest double-ended trumpet. That wasn't Zaha Hadid.
No, it wasn't.
Some other.
It was a fella.
Yeah, a dude. He's spoilt that series of installations in Tate Modern is what we're talking about. He's spoilt that for everyone else because no one will ever be able to put anything that's even remotely as good as that in there again.
The crack comes close, though.
Right. Okay. So that's a recommendation.
Yep.
London's biggest conversation.
What's going on? Sopranos tonight, midnight, from episode 1. They're going to play the whole lot on a daily basis. You don't have to wait till the next week. And then because the thing with the Sopranos is you forget who everybody is. And they don't really allow for that. They just sort of mumble on about, you know what, and you think, who are they talking about? Who just got killed? Who's done something to who?
Do you have to make notes? Is it one of those programs you have to do a diagram?
One of the reasons that I stopped reading books is that I can't keep in my mind who everybody is. And when you have to write in a book to remind yourself of who all the characters are, you just might as well stop.
Because in War and Peace, there's a whole list of character names and who they're related to.
You have not read War and Peace.
You must have read that.
Never. I mean, it's about 1,000 pages long. Why would you want to read that?
Why would you want to watch 78? Was it 78 hours of
something? It's something like that. Yeah. Let me work that out.
Could you read War and Peace in the same time it would take you to watch the whole of The Sopranos?
Quite possibly, but that would involve a lot more effort on your part. I mean, apart from anything else, reading books sends me to sleep. I can manage about 20 minutes, and then I'm just flat out.
So how many pages is that?
Television, on the other hand, hour after endless hour. I think it's there's
pages per hour.
There's 6 series, and in America you usually get 24 episodes in a series, which would make it 144 episodes they're about to show from number 1. That's 144 hours of your life. You'll never get back, but it'll be worth it.
No.
Do it.
You've just said you don't know who any of the characters are, how they're related.
Well, see, this would be the ideal way to catch up because you don't have to wait a week to the next episode. You can just watch it the next day, and then even I wouldn't forget. You're not convinced?
No.
Gary.
Hello.
Hey, Gary.
Hello. How you doing?
All right, thanks.
Good. Back onto the subject of the hiccups. Sorry, I was a bit delayed when the subject came on. I don't know if anyone said it, but the best way to cure hiccups is if someone's in front of you and they're having the hiccups, say to them, hiccup again, I'll give you a £5, and it will stop them completely from hiccuping.
Huh.
And for everyone who's listening, try it. But as I was saying earlier, on the speed camera thing, I'm a courier who drives in London. And about a month ago, on a Saturday afternoon, I was going up Earls Court Road, stopped in a loading bay, in my van, to go into a KFC, something to eat, and use the bathroom quickly. I must have been maximum 6 minutes. And about 3 weeks later, 2 weeks, fine came through for £120 for me being in the loading bay. And I phoned them up and said the loading bay was in use and I could use it. And I said, they actually questioned me, what were you doing? I said, I was loading. They said, what were you loading? I said, food. And I said, what kind of food? I said,
Snacks.
It was personal. It was, and they actually fined me for that. They were actually filming me and videoing me with what I was doing. I shouldn't have been using the loading bay, but it was so quiet.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of thing with video cameras these days, but...
yes. I have nothing to say to that, really. We just got to sit there and take it. And we do. And this is why they're continuing to screw us over. We're just taking it. If it was happening in France, there'd be riots in the streets. They'd be pulling up paving slabs.
For £120 fine, if you, I mean, I've used the loading bay when I shouldn't be using it, but there's nobody there. They've actually filmed me on video for about 7 or 8 minutes watching what I'm actually doing.
Yeah.
Going into the KFC and then coming up and back into my van and sent me £120 fine. It's unreal.
Just to spend a penny. All right. Thanks for the bad news, Gary.
No problem.
Lewis Hamilton, you will know, has said that he's going to leave the country because he gets interfered with in public lavatories. Was that more or less what he said?
What?
He goes to the loo in a garage, he said, and people come in and ask him for his autograph. That's why he's leaving the country and going to Switzerland. And I'd like to raise a finger of doubt about that. I think he's leaving the country and going to Switzerland so he pays less tax. Thanks a lot, Lewis.
I thought
it's not very.
Drivers lived in Monaco. Anyway.
Yeah, Monaco. Monaco's a hideous-looking place. It looks like it looks like council flats tumbling into the sea. I think it's one of the most populated countries in the world as far as person per square foot. But the only reason anybody would want to live in Monaco is exactly the same reason as Switzerland, that they don't have to pay any tax. But I love the way he was trying to throw a smokescreen over why he's going. Oh, he's not going because of any other reason other than that he can walk to the supermarket unmolested. What rubbish. It's all about the money, admit it. And I don't think that's a very patriotic thing to do, really, is it?
It's a bit unfriendly.
Well, yeah, really. I mean, this is the country that that supported him in his youth, and now he's made a bit. He's basically giving us all the finger and telling us to go and screw ourselves. Nice.
Did you see? While we're talking about sport, did you see Paula Radcliffe?
No.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, great, I'm sure. A woman ran in a straight line. Well done, Dick.
It was brilliant. I watched the first 6 minutes.
Yes.
I fell asleep for 2 hours.
Exactly, yes.
I woke up and watched the last 10 minutes, and then I cried.
Right.
When she picked up that baby, hair baby. Can you be that skinny, legally?
Long-distance running cannot be good for you. And that's the very reason why. Look at long-distance runners. They all look like they're on the verge of death.
But why was I crying at the end of her...
I don't know, you stubbed your toe on the table.
Probably.
I'll cry at anything.
But me too.
I mean, I do mean anything. If they play sad music in a washing powder commercial, I'll be crying.
Look, I've got a picture of her. It's going up on my wall.
Paula Radcliffe.
Yeah.
That has to be the world's most boring sport.
A fella couldn't do that.
What, run in a straight line?
No, have a baby, and then 10 months later, win a marathon. In fact, run a marathon in 2 hours, 22 minutes and something seconds.
Yeah, but it's not doing her any good. Stop doing it, dear. Put your feet up.
She looks all right. She's a bit...
ill.
She does look a bit
Her
thin,
running style is very bizarre. She doesn't look like she's actually built for running. She runs like, you know those animals that people put in the back shelf of their car? Their heads nod up and down like this. She has this sort of loping, antelope style. She actually runs like a giraffe. Her head is going sort of back and forth. It doesn't look right. She doesn't look like she's built to run. In much the same manner as the bees don't look like they're built to fly. But they seem to do all right.
I saw a bee yesterday. It was so warm.
What, the bee?
Well, it was so warm, I think all the bees started coming out again. And
Never mind about bees, ladybirds. We are inundated with ladybirds. What's going on with ladybirds in this country suddenly?
I don't know.
The past few years, I mean, they're beetles, right? I mean, I know they look pretty, but there's an infestation of beetles. And they just crawl through the woodwork.
I think they're American beetles, aren't they?
Are they?
I think they were imported to sort of eat the little creatures on some kind of crop, and it's all gone terribly wrong. Aphids, that's it. It's all gone terribly wrong.
Well, these new ones, apparently, they're darker and more spotty. They've usurped the friendly British ladybird. They're foreign imports.
They eat them.
In much the same way as grey squirrels have chucked out the red ones. When was the last time you saw a red squirrel? Never, I bet.
Why is it always the British ones are the nice, friendly ones, and the imports are always nasty, beat up the British ones?
It's not that they're nice particularly. They're just saps, aren't they? They're
pushovers.
Yeah, exactly. They're pushovers.
Oh, all right.
In much the same way as we are pushovers. If somebody stands on the foot of an Englishman, we all apologise. Exactly right.
So that's what the British ladybird has done.
Yeah.
Just rolled on its back and said sorry.
And for the perfect example of this, you'd have to look at our nation's flag, the Union flag. We gave up that just because the National Front was seen waving it about. So we apologised as a nation, sorry, and we refused to show it because it might reflect poorly on us. So we just gave it away, didn't we?
I think that's quite good.
I think that's outrageous.
Oh, I think it's good. Get rid of flags, get rid of borders.
Get rid of borders?
Yeah.
Well, our borders is literally written in sand. We've got sea around our borders.
Mental.
What are you writing
down? Borders. What? I'm writing down all the topics we're talking about.
Well, there must be dozens down there.
There is.
Because I don't tend to stick to one thing. I just sort of skate around. It sounds like you're writing with a quill.
I am writing with fountain pen, yeah.
You read books, you write with a fountain pen. It's like you're living in the forces.
What do you do?
Well, I write with a biro, like normal people.
Watch the telly.
Yeah. Actually, biros are a horrible thing to write with.
They are, that's why I'm writing with this.
See, in school, it were grand when I were a lad. We had to write with a nib and ink, which was great for flicking across the room. You could hit somebody yards away, and they'd never know where it came from. But it also slows your hand down, making your writing more beautiful. Check her writing, Alex. How does it look?
It's not bad.
That's
not bad.
That's not my best writing, though.
No.
Yeah. Just the way you said that.
For a fountain pen, it's
poor.
average.
Yeah. Poor, I think he's saying.
It is poor, yeah.
But she has had to do it quickly.
Yeah, well, imagine what it would look like if she was using a biro.
I thought everyone wrote with a fountain pen.
I would like to. I've had one for, ever since I was a teenager. My parents gave me one, but it's been broken for about the last 20 years. It's still sitting in pride of place on my desk. I haven't used it in decades.
Why not? You could write a book.
As long as I don't have to read one.
Well,
yes.
yeah, just write it. You don't have to read it. I'll read it if you write it.
Yeah, okay, it's a deal. Okay. It's 9:45. Here's Alan Joyce with Travel.
Thanks, Nick. There's plenty going on.
Okie dokie.
A tinkle. I did that, by the way, that whole Ken Livingstone Flushing thing, and I still do. He said, and I'm sorry about this, but this is what he said, Ken Livingstone. He said, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. He said that. And I took that on board, because we had the drought. Hard to believe now that we had a drought. Mind you, it hasn't rained in what seems like forever. And so I do that. And you know what? After a while, you could grow potatoes.
Makes a mess of your pan, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. And you need to buy chemicals that you virtually need to wear a chemical hazard suit to squirt down your toilet. It's so powerful. In order just to get it clean. Thanks a lot, Ken. That's not saving the planet.
But I bought some toilet cleaner recently because I do that. And I couldn't believe one of the ingredients was formaldehyde. And I was horrified. And I don't know what to do with this plastic bottle of formaldehyde.
Because you would think that that's not actually good for you to
I'm not putting that...
smell.
No, I'm not putting that down the loo. But I've now got this bottle of formaldehyde.
Well, perhaps we could give it away as a prize.
We could do.
As used by Helen.
Yeah.
Or not.
I don't know why I bought it in the first place. I never buy things like that, but I was struggling
toilet
with
cleaner?
well, not with chemicals in like that.
I don't think you can buy toilet unless it's one of those eco-hippie toilet
Well, it
cleaners
is, yeah,
that
that's
won't work.
That's what I normally buy.
Mind you, I wash my clothes in an eco-hippie way, and it works fantastically well.
Well,
I
there
don't
you go.
use washing powder.
What do you use?
They're called eco balls.
Oh, good.
I've got no idea what they do or how they do it, but it's actually I would never go back to using powder now. This is beginning to sound like an advert, but they're full of little stones. Big plastic things that look like they're about the size of a tennis ball, and they've got holes in them, and they're full of little stones. And you stick them in your wash, 3 of them, and you don't use powder. And then I don't know how they do it, but they ionize the water or aerate it or some such thing, and the dirt just drifts away. It smells great too.
I'll try them.
You want to come in here and have a little hot sniffy action?
No.
So where'd you get those from? Just your normal, friendly neighbourhood
hippie? Well, I bought them off the World Wide Weight.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look them up.
The initial price is steep, but if you think of how much you spend on washing powder, it's gigantic.
I don't.
You don't what?
Spend any money on washing powder.
Well, what do you use?
Either sometimes water, just water, or some of the kind of Ecover products.
Right. Isn't that washing powder?
Well,
washing product?
Kind of, but it's not. It's a bit softer than some of the other products.
Right.
But I don't know what to do with this bottle of formaldehyde. How can I dispose of it in a responsible way?
Pour it down the drain?
No.
Just leave it outside your house. Someone will pick it up.
Will they?
Yeah, just leave it outside your house with a note that says "Take me."
I might do that. I'm just going to write that down.
Or you could say "Drink me."
That would be dangerous.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. There's £1,000 in cash to be won, and on Friday, someone's going to win a week for 2 at an exclusive Sunset Grande resort in Ocho Rios in Jamaica all this week with Paul Ross on weekday afternoons from 4 o'clock. If you listen to Paul and can guess the Jamaican gem that Levi Roots and Jimmy Adams are describing, then you are in with a chance to win £1,000 in cash every day this week, or on Friday a trip to Jamaica. So much more than just a beach resort. And you can find out more about Jamaica by downloading the podcast at lbc.co.uk and win on Friday a luxury trip for 2 to Jamaica. Once you go, you know. Going by air is, you would do at your own risk, though. 2 pilots on an overnight flight fell asleep at the controls of an airline carrying 100 passengers, it emerged yesterday. The pair were only woken 20 minutes from landing by frantic calls from an air traffic controller who noticed that they were travelling too fast and too high. The captain of an Airbus A319 admitted he was asleep as his jet approached Denver Airport at twice the speed permitted. "You're coming in too fast." The pilot wrote in this report, "In the last 45 minutes of flight, I fell asleep, and so did the first officer. I woke up to frantic calls from air traffic control. I answered and abided by all the instructions to get down, and I woke the first officer up." The pilot said he took the jet to a lower altitude as ordered, then landed with no further incidents. Oh, he managed to stay awake. Passengers on the flight of a 140-capacity plane were unaware of the drama, and no one was injured. Well, unaware because they're still busy trying to prise open their complimentary bag of peanuts, or watch the Simpsons in-flight movie, which, by the way, is
boring.
And I'll take no argument about that. In his comments, the pilot said he had been switched to 3 nights in a row of flying overnight on the 8-hour round trip. And I always think about that whenever I'm getting on a plane that's got a night flight. The people who are flying it have been on the same schedule as me. I mean, if you've ever done overnights, you'll know how it really screws you up.
They've got nothing to do, have they?
Well, no, that's the other thing.
You're sitting down in a nice, comfy, warm chair.
It'd be like being at war. Brief moments of intense excitement as you're taking off and landing, followed by giant acres of boredom when nothing ever happens. So, if the pilots are on the same timeline as you are when you get on the plane at like 11 o'clock at night, how are they going to stay awake? I mean, this must happen all the time. And there's only 2 of them up front, right? Isn't that true?
Yeah.
They don't need a navigator anymore. That's World War II.
Yeah. Or engineer it used to be.
Yeah. Do they still have those?
No. There's 2, normally.
So if they both just drift off, as you would, then, well, you're freshly screwed.
So what are the cabin crew doing?
Well, they're busy, answering calls from people moaning about their... Oh, I didn't order fish, I wanted beef, like that. Can we move, please? These people are annoying me. Can I be upgraded? All of that.
But they must go in.
Can you give me your number?
They must go in with a cup of tea or coffee.
I really fancy you. Well, apparently not. Because, I mean, if they were 45 minutes out, I mean, at a certain point they have to get themselves ready to land, don't they? They have to get in all the plastic trays and collect the vomit bags and whatever else it is that they do. And so they would be ignoring the pilots, just assuming that they would be doing their job. Totally asleep. The other thing is, when you get on a plane and it hasn't had enough time to even be cleaned on a turnaround, are you ever concerned about that? That if they're not cleaning it, what else are they not doing?
Emptying things.
Pilots are... No, not that. I mean, that's all right. You can live with that. If it's a toilet up the front is closed because it's full, they just use one at the back. Pilots are routinely compromising passenger safety for fear of retribution by their employers, according to the Aircraft Engineers International, which represents 16,000 maintenance engineers worldwide. Because there is this rush to get the planes turned around. Which is why you're always held up at the airport, because they run to such tight margins.
Yeah.
Especially the cheaper carriers. They need to get you turned around in about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And if there's a slight hold-up at one end, then you're not going to make it, which is why you always sit there for 3 hours and they say, oh, well, the plane's not here. Have another brown, warm drink. And sit on the plastic chair. In a letter sent by this Aircraft Engineers Union to the Civil Aviation Authority, it warns that a high percentage of system defects or equipment failures are only reported when it's convenient for the operator, and that a pilot is risking his job if they jeopardise schedules by reporting faults. So, in other words, warning signs are flashing on the panel in front of them, and they're just, they're putting a piece of paper over it so that it's not going to distract them. Because if they said, oh, there's a warning sign flashing, they'd have to take the plane out of operation or get somebody in to fix it. So they're just flying while things are wrong with the plane. You haven't got a passport?
No.
They cite evidence from aircraft logbooks showing a disproportionate number of technical defects entered after the final flight of the day, or when an aircraft has landed at a convenient maintenance hub. So in other words, something will go wrong in London, say, but they've got another 2 flights, so they have to go to London to Rome and then from Rome to Frankfurt. And if the problem is shown up in London, they won't say anything and just cross their fingers and hope for the best till they get to Frankfurt, which will be the last flight of the day.
Because then they want to go home, don't they?
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing as well. They have to sit there until the plane takes off, right?
Yeah.
What was that?
A little gentle reminder.
Oh! Way past I am. Okay, go away and come back.
LBC.
Oh, that's me. Just to close, I don't want to end on a bum note, but in closing it says, we've had reports of aircraft flying back to home base with damaged tyres, damaged fan blades, and other serious defects simply for the sake of saving money. Operators with very tight flight schedules with short turnaround times are especially guilty of this practice. Happy landings! I'll be much more together and with it tomorrow. That's my hope, anyway. Clive's next.